my friends, a Victory Monday here on Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. It had been so long since we had tasted the sweet, sweet juice, the nectar of a Sunday victory here on a Monday show. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Monday. I know mine is. I'm feeling fantastic this morning. Great to be back here with my homies. Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning. How are you?
I am doing very well. I want to talk about your weekend in a second. I noticed something in a picture that you posted, and I want to get clarification on it. Is that okay?
Sure.
I'm surprising you with this. I know.
I have no idea.
He has no idea what I'm talking about.
I guess I'll let you know if it's okay.
All right. I'm very, very curious about something. Very curious. And to my left, Benjamin R. Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. Now, do you really feel fantastic, or were you just hypnotized into feeling fantastic?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. I feel great.
So specifically, the last time we had a Victory Monday show, Monday, May 27th, and it didn't even feel that great because that was after the Padres had salvaged the last game against the New York Yankees.
That's right.
After losing the first two games pretty badly, and they won that last game on Sunday.
What was the date there?
That was Monday, May 27th. So Sunday, May 26th was the last time until yesterday that the Padres won a game on a Sunday.
And weren't we off that Monday though? I thought that was wasn't that Memorial Day?
Was that Memorial Day? Oh, I think it was.
my
You're right.
God.
So it was the week before that. You're right that we had a Monday show.
Yeah.
So that would have been Monday, May 20th.
But that was
after
the last time they
Atlanta
won
Braves.
on a
That was the last
Sunday.
time they won on a Sunday.
But we didn't even have a show.
You're right. The last time we had a Monday show was Monday, May 20th. So more than 2 months ago. That's
God.
crazy. And by the way, over those 2 months, Padres have a winning record despite never winning on Sundays.
Never.
They've just threw one day of the week completely out, as this one is a lost cause, and they still had a winning record over those 2 months.
I mean, it's very clear that our guys would rather be reading scripture and practicing, doing all the right things on a Sunday and not working.
It's a day of rest.
It's a day
Not
of
a day
rest.
of baseball winning.
I was on Instagram last night. Paulie, our buddy Brian Sims came in last week and took some pictures of us, and he's kind of like the official Tier 1 photographer. He's taken some of the Tier 1 games and some of Bo's Little League games. A great dude, Brian Sims. Check him out. He's really, really good at what he does. Paulie, he took a great picture of Paulie on the mic, and then Paulie just posted some pictures of you out and about. Things are going well. You're very happy.
Couple months.
So I looked at this picture here. It's you, it's your buddy Aaron, and it's your wife Megan.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at it and I said, it looks like you're wearing a sarong. Are you wearing a sarong behind our backs? And we don't know that when
What's
you
a sarong?
it's like a wrap. It's like a men's
sash?
A sash goes here.
Okay.
A sarong would be like my Turkish bath towels, and you just wear it around your waist.
Well, I guess because I'm asking, the answer is no.
The answer is no. Now Ben, tell me, doesn't it look like you can see his legs through the picture, right? Doesn't it look like a sarong?
Hang on, let me pull up the picture.
I just think they're white pants. And
I'm
they're
wearing
just a
white
little
pants.
bit
Okay, all right,
see-through
okay,
white
okay.
pants.
But
That's why you don't necessarily always wear white pants, because they can be, well, a little see-through, especially if it gets
I
hot.
saw some.
It's also a blurry,
It's a blurry pic.
which I thought it ended up looking cool.
It does look cool. It's a great picture. I just said our producer goes out at night and is wearing sarongs, and we don't know this. And I feel like that's
I'm just
something.
wearing white pants.
All
with
right,
the
white
blur.
pants. Okay.
I don't own a pair of white pants.
I'm not
I don't
shocked.
think I would look good in white pants.
I think you'd look better than you think you would.
In white pants?
In white pants.
All right.
Yeah.
You own white pants.
I
I've
do.
seen you on the golf course in white pants.
I wore them one time and have never worn them since. All right, Paulie, I saw it and I said, I thought I saw a little not a little, but I thought I saw some Reindl wiener in there, like the see-through pants. You got to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
You gotta be careful.
I see some skin there, dog. And I went, that dude he's wearing a sarong out, which is great. Hey, if that's how you want to roll, then more power to you. If I had
You had me worried there. I was like, did I accidentally post a dong
did
on
I post
Instagram?
hog on Instagram and I didn't know?
No, I was-
No, I wanted to get clarification because I saw it. And I said, if he's out there wearing sarongs, I want to know about it. I feel like I have a right to know that his leisure wear when he's out of the studio and away from us is Oh yeah, I always wear these. I'm like, what? You're always wearing a sarong? I may get one. I leave for Hawaii a week from tomorrow. I don't think I would. I think I could live the sarong life. I've learned that this weekend.
I was going to say, weren't you supposed to be just robing it the entire weekend on your vacation to the desert?
There were some robes. There was some
no robes.
There were some no robes as well. We had a phenomenal time. My wife and I went to Two Bunch Palms. Now, I told Paulie. Paulie said, "How's the trip yesterday at the Tier 1 game?" And I said, "It was good." He said, "Well, what do you mean good?" And I said, "Well, I said some things."
I saw positive reviews from you on Instagram and social media. You're desert people now.
Some things happened that would only happen to us, the Woods family, as you can imagine. It didn't go as smoothly as it had been planned.
It was insanely hot, right?
It was, well, which we knew.
You knew
so
that.
we were prepared. We didn't get out and go, "Oh my God, oh my!"
Coming to Palm Desert in the middle of July.
Yeah, we knew. We knew what to expect. All right, so my wife is amazing, and I'll tell you what. As big of a fan as I am of Two Bunch Palms, Mrs. Woods, even bigger. And you've heard of Hotel Hannah. Resort Hannah is a completely different animal. And I do mean animal. It was spectacular. We had a spectacular time. Now, my wife planned a lot. It wasn't just we're going to go out to the desert at this resort and sit in these tubs and relax and whatever. We had a body scrub planned. We had a couple's facial planned. We had a couple's massage planned. And we had a couple's wrap. Not like we're rapping. Like we're not rapping.
Oh, right.
Like,
Not Ben
hey,
Reed's
what's up,
raps.
girl? Let's see those.
Couples
right.
read raps?
Right.
No.
It was like a rap.
W-R-A-P.
Right. W-R-A-P. Yes, we weren't rapping.
You were wrapped in something.
Correct. So all four of those things were scheduled on the books.
Getting the sense that not all four were
Take your guesses.
accomplished.
Take your guesses at how many of those actually happened.
I'll go
out of four.
The over-under's 1.5 right now. Paulie?
Well, he's leading me to believe the under.
Yeah, the under hit.
I'm going under, yeah.
The under hit with zero.
0. Wow.
Absolutely none of them.
You didn't even do the soak on Friday
We
at
did
6
the
p.m.?
soak.
Okay.
Now, we did the soak.
You did the soak on Friday.
We had a teak tub outside of our room that had a giant fence around it, so it was completely private. So the minute we got in and put our bags down, we went butt naked and got in the tub, the two of us together, in the big old tub with this beautiful lithium water pouring out of the deal, butt naked, having a blast. It was incredible. Then we went that night, we swam in the grotto, real dark area that you walk through a door downstairs into the water. It was stunning. It's beautiful. The water is this perfect. It's hot out there, but the water...
Not naked that time.
Not naked that time.
Yeah.
But the water's this perfectly... It's warm, yes, and it's hot outside, but it's perfect. It just you're so relaxed. And you look at each other and go, F them kids, man. This could be our life. This could be our life all the time.
Thank you.
Right? This could be our life all the time. What are we doing?
What wrong choices did we make here?
That was Friday. By Saturday, I was in tears looking at pictures of them. True story. So,
Brother, I live like you lived on Friday every night.
right. But then Saturday, I'm there like weeping because I missed my boys. So anyway, the first thing that we had scheduled was the body scrub, and Hannah had booked it in advance. And we said, Hannah goes, "Oh, what do you think about canceling that? I want to watch Bo's last baseball game at camp." I go, 100%. I don't want to miss one of his games. So cancel. It's fine. So we canceled it within the allotted 24 hours. No problem. So they said, "No problem. We got it. You're good. Thank you for letting us know." Next day, we are getting ready for our facial, our couple's facial, 11:30. We get a text. Ooh, the esthetician had an emergency. She's unable to make it in today. We're going to have to cancel your facials. We go,
Someone else had a bigger face issue than you did.
yeah, apparently. So I looked at her and I go, all right, no big deal. I'd never had one. Didn't really care. It was just to be together. So we canceled it. They canceled it on us. We said, okay. Now remember, we got it that morning. Literally about 10 minutes before we were going to walk down there. Okay? Later on in the afternoon, so we end up driving into Joshua Tree and going to the national park and killing some time and doing, having a great time, just having an adventure. So we get back in time for the massage, Ben. We walk up to the waiting area of the massage, and there's a couple there, and it's Hannah and I, and two lovely women walk in, and they have their paper, and they're looking for Chris and Bethany. Oh, that's you guys? Okay, come on back. Two lovely women, take them away. Well, I look over, and I see two men walking up the stairs to greet us. I am not one to judge a book by its cover. There was one guy there, though. He had a bowl haircut and a crustache. He looked like many of the school shooters that we have seen throughout history. Straight up. And he had a little crustache, and he had a bowl haircut. It wasn't cool. And he walks up, he says, "Are you Hannah? Come with me." And the other guy, "Hi, I'm Angel. Are you Steve? Come with me." And Hannah sits back, she goes, "Absolutely not. Absolutely not." She goes, "I requested women." She requested females. She always requests females. They didn't have any females. So we thought, all right. And I looked at her and she goes, "I'm not comfortable." And I go, you don't have to be. I'm not asking you to be comfortable, to go get rubbed down by, this guy. And I said, so I don't know what to tell you guys. Sorry. Like, we chose women. So anyway, they said, "Well, can you go down to the front desk?" So we go down to the front desk and we said, "Look, here's the deal." We pulled up all of our correspondence. The day that Hannah went to book all these treatments, the platform went down. Their platform. Right? So she had to do it manually. The lady never asked her, "Do you want man or woman?" Right? So we just went through the whole deal, and they said, "Well, you're going to have to pay for it." We said, "There's no way. There's no way." She goes, "I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable getting rubbed by a man. I never have. I've never chosen a man. I never would choose a man. I always get massaged by women." And so we had to haggle in at the front desk. They ended up comping us most of it. We still were on the hook for a few $100s. I wrote a very strongly worded email this morning as well. I want to extol the virtues of this place because it was phenomenal, but I don't want to pay for services unrendered. You know what I'm saying? And she goes, "But there's a cancellation policy." I go, "That's wild because that doesn't extend you to your esthetician who canceled 5 minutes before our treatment." Like, I'm not trying to screw anyone over here. But she doesn't want to get rubbed down by that dude, and that dude specifically, to be honest with you. And I said, you can't ask somebody to put themselves in an uncomfortable position. It's 2024. Like, if you guys got to pay them out of your kick, then you need to do that. But we're not going to pay for services we didn't get. Right? Do you agree with me or them?
I think Hannah is 100%. Should be able to say, "I'm not comfortable with this situation," and should be able to cancel without penalty.
Without penalty.
I don't know about, for you should be able to be massaged by anyone.
Oh, and I have no problem.
And wouldn't have a problem with it.
Zero. Yeah. And I don't care. But I'm also not going to be, I'm not going to also be like, see you in the room.
I get that. I get that as well.
A massage and wrap and everything else. So it was a little bit of a sour taste in our mouth from an otherwise exquisite, perfect weekend.
And I've never worked in the hotel industry, and I'm sure there are problem customers who are always looking for
that ain't us
to get outside the rules, but it clearly isn't you.
No.
And I would think it would be much more valuable to keep you guys happy and come back, 4 or 5 more times over the next few years, spending tons of money. Now you're probably less likely to do so after having a not perfect experience.
Well, I
which
told
is,
him,
you want to have a perfect experience.
I told him this morning, you can reverse the $300 on her card, or you can send us a gift card, and we'll come back and use it. And I said, I go, there are people in my DMs right now asking me about this place. I said, I'd love to be able to come back with all of them at some point. I said, for $300, you're going to cost yourself, what, 5-10 grand over the next couple years? Like, that doesn't seem like smart business to me. Other than that experience, it was spectacular. The food that I was so worried about, unbelievably great. Fresh, delicious, some of the best steak we ever had. The place is phenomenal. Other than that scene. And I do feel like it's off-peak, right? It's an off-peak time. So I get that you don't have 100 masseurs and masseuses sitting around waiting. I understand that. And like I said, I'm not trying to screw anybody over. But when these dudes walked into the room, there needs to be like a presentation. There needs to be like a certain, you know what I mean? Like Hannah was like, absolutely. She sat back. She goes, absolutely not. And I go, no, I wouldn't want that guy in particular touching you. If he looked like you, I wouldn't have cared. If he looked like you, I wouldn't have cared. If he looked like 95% of the people I know, the dude walked in, I went, oh no, that can't be right. That can't be. So it was.
Maybe he was really good at giving massages.
I mean, he probably is. He probably is. But he's not. My wife's like, he's not going to massage me and then wrap me nude. And I'm like, I don't blame you. Not even for a little bit. Not even a little. And the fact that they didn't just say, we got you guys. You're covered. Don't worry about it. Sorry you had a bad experience. I'm literally in negotiation. You know me. When do I haggle? I go to buy a car and they're like, $48,000. I'm like, sounds good. Here's a check. You know, I'm not a haggler, but I was pretty pissed about this one because it was their platform that got jacked up that we had to, do it through email. And, at the end of the day, man, the customer is always right. They're always right. No, not always right. But in this case, we, the customer, were right. We were right. And, but other than that, it was phenomenally relaxing and great, and we soaked in the tubs, and it was incredible.
No, like weird celebrity run-ins like you usually get on vacation.
No.
Nick Nolte was at the was at Two Bunch Palms and staying in the room next to us. No,
all right. Do you remember the old man I saw at the Joshua Tree Saloon?
Right.
He was there. We went back. He was there again
at the saloon again.
Same guy.
Really?
Yes.
The Crypt
same
Keeper.
spot. The Crypt Keeper.
Yeah.
Yep. Same guy. Same spot, and I almost died. The curse that he had put on me.
Had he
there,
moved since then?
No, I don't think so. I think he had the same shirt on. I sent it to our buddy Jack, who was with me, and I go,
left since the last time.
I
you
don't
were
think
there.
so. He still had the same draft Coors Light in front of him.
He's a fixture.
He's a fixture, and he was just sitting there, and I went, ooh. So I think the curse has been reversed from seeing him the last time.
And then the Padres win on a Sunday.
It was great. It was great. Padres won on a Sunday. Curse reversed. Life is looking good.
All right. Well, welcome back. You do look relaxed.
I feel great. I feel fantastic. Really do.
I'm glad.
Yeah. You're looking at me like you don't believe me. I really feel really good.
And I am curious whether your hypnosis that we did on Thursday during the Ben and Woods summer break had an effect on you. Can I ask you about that when we come back? Okay.
Absolutely.
We'll set the menu. Obviously, lots of Padres talk. Xander Schauffele wins another major. That was some great golf yesterday, some of the best I have ever seen. We'll talk about all of it coming up. We are underway. It is Ben and Woods and Paul on a Monday morning. Kelly Danick's got traffic, and we'll be right back with more on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got a bunch of texts over the weekend wondering if my golf game had been improved by our hypnosis session with Dr. Ken on Thursday morning. And I don't know. I didn't have a chance to play golf yet. I had to work this weekend. So hopefully it'll carry over until I actually do get out to the golf course. But I wanted to ask you if you feel like, and because you took a little more time with Dr. Ken last Thursday.
A lot more time, yeah.
About unleashing some creativity and just kind of exercising some mental whatever flotsam you were trying to get rid of. And I wanted to know, do you feel like it made a difference the last few days for you?
I don't think there's any question. Now, working in concert with a very relaxing vacation,
right? Good timing,
really good
for Dr.
timing.
Ken.
But I was up super early today. Had some time to myself this morning, which was really nice. And then, talking about baseball, I asked him about, hey man, help me with my baseball.
Oh, that's right.
game.
Yeah,
remember that?
Look at the ball looks big, like a big beach ball coming in.
So we had a Tier 1 game yesterday, and we've been on a roll on the squad for sure. And I was batting. I was in the 9 hole. We scored 9 runs in the first. I walked in the first. Now, then they brought in a kid who's probably, Paul, you'd probably say that's probably the dirtiest arm we've seen since we started playing adult ball again.
Yeah, he was the most effective
Kid was
pitcher
nasty.
we've seen.
He was nasty. I don't know why they didn't start him. We wouldn't have scored 9 in the first off him, but he was pretty dirty. Good fastball, nasty slider.
We scored 9 in the first. The final score, we had 10.
Yeah, 10. So he pretty much shut us down since then. I walked off of him 3 times and twice off of him and hit an RBI single. To right, and he was probably the dirtiest arm I've seen.
I was seeing the ball well.
I was that 10th. I was that 10th run. Knocked in that 10th run on a nice hit to right field. But yeah, he had me 0-2 and I walked. I mean, I was seeing it really well. So far so good. OBP of 1,000. Yesterday, my first game after hypnosis.
So I was thinking after Friday's 7-0 loss, we might need to send Dr. Ken on the road trip with the Padres to hypnotize them all. But whatever they did Friday to Saturday seemed to work. We will talk about all the games this weekend in Cleveland, starting with our Padres Wrap-Up coming up at 6:35 and go over yesterday's pretty thrilling 2-1 win. I mean, tense game.
Yeah, we had it on in the dugout.
Rubber game of the series. Certainly could have gone either way. I think I tweeted around the 7th inning. This is either going to be a great win or a horrible loss.
Yeah.
And there really is no gray area in between.
It was such a tight game.
They hold on to win. They take the series. You felt like, okay, they've done something really good coming out of the break. If they blow it, though, after Michael King's performance yesterday, and they can't finish the job and get the win, it's going to be a gut punch. And, there's no moral victories for keeping it close against a good Cleveland team in that scenario where you had such a great pitching performance and you had a lead for the whole game. So,
depending on who you ask.
Well, that's true. Mike Schilt's not here.
Right.
For everybody else.
We'll talk to him on
I promise
Friday.
you, had they lost yesterday, it would have been a glowing post-game interview talking about the pitching,
which is fine, which is absolutely okay.
Right.
I mean,
I'm
you
just saying
always
it contradicts like how Ben was saying. There's no gray area. It's either a great win or a horrible loss.
Yeah, I think for us, and
That's
you listening, yes, I do feel that the manager, in particular, Mike Schilt, is 1,000% going to feel differently. And by the way, he's probably right to feel that way. Right? I mean, he said his quote yesterday was, "That's why I'll let other people react. That's fine. I know what this club's overreact. Sorry, I know what this club's about. I know this game can be a challenge. We came in here with the club that's leading the division, best record in the AL, best record at home. We won 2 out of 3. I got complete confidence in our ball club."
Fine, we'll talk about it. I think he's the only one that would have tried to put a positive spin on that game had they blown it.
If they had lost that game, Ben, 3-2.
Jake Cronenworth would have said, we didn't get it done. We needed to add on.
Yeah, but
we
Ben
need to be
Higgins
better.
would have said
Michael
King pitched his ass out.
I would have said Michael King pitched well.
Right.
But that would have been
9-0 and get your ass kicked.
That would have been a devastating
Profar
loss.
had a good. I mean, Profar went 4 for 4.
Well, there's always something positive in every game, and I don't mind you pointing it out. But had they lost that game,
would have sucked.
Would have been an absolute kick to the gut for the Padres. Instead, they come out of this break with some, good feelings, positive feelings on what is undoubtedly a tough road trip. So we'll go through yesterday's game coming up in our Padres wrap-up. 7 o'clock hour, talk about the other games from the weekend, the win and the loss in Cleveland, 7-0 both ways. Take on Woods. We will carry over some of our categories from last week, and we got some new categories as well. Chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas in our musical trivia challenge. Don't do this. I know Woods is excited about one of the Don't Do This topics already on the show today. And then in the second half of the program, we'll get back to our regular guests after giving them the week off. In-season Sam Levitt will be with us at 8:35. We got our Reindl Report at 9 o'clock, and we will take it all the way until 10 as the Padres continue their road trip tomorrow. Already a day off for your San Diego Padres. 3 days, and all right, day off time again in Washington today before they start a 3-game series against the Nationals tomorrow afternoon.
Can't wait.
All right, that's the menu. We will get into our Padres. A winning Monday morning Padres wrap-up for the first time since late May.
Soak it in.
Coming up next with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, Padres get that 2-1 win over the Cleveland Guardians yesterday to take 2 out of 3 to open the second half of the season. What a pitching performance by, 2 consecutive. Unbelievable pitching performances.
3.
I was going to say, you know what? Give
3.
me 3.
All right, Matt Waldron was really good as well.
Fantastic.
Didn't get any offensive support,
Nope.
but not his fault.
No.
3 really outstanding pitching performances. It's funny when 6 hits and 1 run is the clunker of the 3. You know you had some great starting pitching.
It's incredible.
Over the weekend. But the stat that blew me away, only the second time in Padres franchise history that they've had a 2-game span allowing just 3 hits. And the only other time came back in 1984, 40 years ago, where they gave up 1 hit on Saturday, 2 hits yesterday, and pulled off the series win over a very good Cleveland Guardians team. We'll get to a victorious, finally, Monday morning Padres wrap-up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Valvoline Instant Draft the Oil Change, your trusted instant draft the oil change. Getting reports of a stalled vehicle in middle lanes on southbound 805 past University, then toward the South Bay, right before Sweetwater. Solo vehicle accident in the clearing stage. Looks like everything is in the center divide. Fortunately, looking pretty quiet elsewhere around the county. Stop by any of the 30 San Diego Valvoline Instant Oil Change centers. You don't have to get out of your car. It usually only takes 15 minutes or less. Plus, get a free courtesy check of your tires and battery. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for directions and discounts. SoCalOilChange.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station. 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they. I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh, my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! Yeah! It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. Yeah!
Give me a do damage.
Do damage!
1-2, Higashioka swings, lines it into left field and a base hit. Merrill will score. Here comes Kim as it rolls to the base of the wall, and Higashioka chugging into second base. A 2-run double and a 2-0 Padre lead. Trying to work yet another 1-2-3 inning. Here's the 1-1. Kwan swings, grounds it to Cronenworth for the 3rd time today. Jake's got it. Long throw to first in plenty of time, and 6 no-hit innings for Michael King. 2-1 pitch. Martinez line drive into shallow center field. Long run, going to drop in. A base hit. First of the day for the Guardians, a bloop single for Angel Martinez to lead off here in the 7th inning. Michael comes set and ready, 2-1 to Ramirez. Here's the pitch. Swung on, bounced sharply to first and through. Rise drove to his right, couldn't get there. Martinez trying to go first to third. Peralta's throw, cut by Manny. Throw to second, the tag, out at second. What a play. Runner on third, 1 away. 2-2, the pitch. Naylor reaches for it, bangs it on the ground to the right side. Cronenworth has it. Padres will concede the run. Throw to first is in time, but Martinez comes in to score. And now 2-1 here in the 7th. 2-1 from Suarez, the pitch. Ramirez swings, hits it in the air to deep right center. Long way to go, Merrill. He'll get there to make the catch on the warning track, and the ball game is over. For just the 2nd time this year, the Guardians drop a home series. Padres come out of the break and take 2 out of 3 here in Cleveland against the team with the best home record in all of Major League Baseball.
I know what this club's about. I know this game could be a challenge some days. We just came in here with a club that's leading their division, best record in the American League, best record at home. Just won 2 out of 3. And, to your point, Ace, down the first game, nip and tuck, got away from us, later. But I got complete confidence in our ball club.
Man, it's so funny, too, how all 3 games are intertwined, as baseball is. It's cause and effect. It's risk management. It's all of those things. It's thinking a couple of plays ahead, hoping it works out. It really is one big, giant 162-game chess match for a skipper, Ben. And my phone was blowing up on Friday night with some questions about Mike Schilt's bullpen management. I had the exact same questions. This worked out. This was a series of moves for Mike Schilt that worked out. And the ability to go to Robert Suarez yesterday, Ben, for 4 massive outs, including the very last one against one of the world's most feared hitters. Robert Suarez being able to dial up his fastest pitch of the year at the exact time he needed it. It's all connected. And I think that's what it's hard, man, because I'm a big let's go 1-0 today guy, but you cannot manage like that, because if you managed like that, Friday night's game, which we'll get into, would have had potentially devastating consequences on Saturday and Sunday. Maybe not so much Saturday, but Sunday for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I get the question, though, then why did they use Jeremiah Estrada on Saturday with the big lead?
Right.
But he was still available yesterday.
Correct.
Did get 2 outs.
Yeah, it doesn't mean they're wrong for asking that question. I was as confused, I think, as the next person. I'm of the opinion that I'm usually defer to the experts on this, right? And I will say Friday night in the hotel room, when the first guy that came off the bench to throw was Yuki Matsui, I go, Matsui? What?
He was great.
He was great. My wife is in there like brushing her hair. I go, if the first one right out of the break, first one and a 1-0, we're going to Matsui here? Strikes out the side. All right, idiot. And then Kolek, obviously that blew up, and we'll get into that game, but that game had a huge effect, and a guy had DM'd me, and I said, look, man, I think I understand what he's doing. I think I do. If we win the next 2 games of the series, he's a genius. So I guess I have to stand by that it was actually pretty brilliant managing, even though at the time, man, made you pull your hair out.
Let's go through yesterday's game specifically. And as we said, first Sunday win since May. If it sounds like it's been a while since we heard that winning Padres recap, though, it's been nearly a month. It was June 27th was the last time we actually got to play a winning Padres wrap-up.
Good God.
After a weekday win that we had a show the next day.
July 22nd.
Because they did win on July 3rd and 4th, but we were off on the 4th and the 5th. So
Crazy.
The last time there was actually a weekday or Sunday game that we had a show the next morning and the Padres won. It's almost been a month since we heard that. So that felt good to actually hear a winning Padres recap for once. Padres started out, obviously got Michael King some offense in the second inning. What a big hit by Kyle Higashioka coming through with 2 outs. I always joke, I was watching the game with my son, and anytime Kyle Higashioka comes up, it's always like, it feels like it's either going to be a home run or nothing. But in this case, just ripped a line drive double down the line and brought in both runs to give the Padres a 2-0 lead. Really the only clutch hit. They had some other chances, but that would be the only offense for Michael King. Usually that's a recipe, Woods, for finding a way to lose a game. When you score a couple early and then never add on. But Michael King was fantastic, retiring the first 10 batters he faced. The perfect game was lost on a walk in the 4th inning, but kept the no-hitter going all the way into the 7th when it was finally broken up on a bloop single by Angel Martinez. Then a little trouble, but you heard the highlight of what was kind of the hidden play of the game, and it was the Jose Ramirez hard hit ball through the right side of the hole. David Peralta tries to get the runner at third, probably ill-advised, allowing Jose Ramirez, it seemed, to advance into scoring position. But Manny Machado, doing what Manny does, steps forward, cuts it off, makes a perfect throw.
Unreal.
Reindl comes set and ready. 2-1 to Ramirez. Here's the pitch. Swung on, bounced sharply to first and through. The rise dove to his right, couldn't get there. Martinez trying to go first to third. Peralta's throw, cut by Manny. Throw to second to tag. Out at second. What a play.
Unbelievable.
Really close. I was surprised that the Guardians didn't challenge, at least to try at that stage in the game. And we don't know what would have happened, but second and third, nobody out.
Right.
Instead of just a runner at third and 1 out, they let the run score on a ground ball, but then the bases are clear. 2 outs. You've really, you've allowed a run, but you've kind of dodged the real threat that the Guardians were putting together based on that play.
The big inning.
Yeah.
And Manny had an absolutely abysmal series in Cleveland, except for that one play. That one play alone really helped them win that game yesterday. But abysmal with the bat. He hit a couple balls hard. Didn't find a hole, but he was whiffing a bunch, getting some bad calls against him. It doesn't look like he's out of the break, Ben, seeing the ball as well as he could be. Interesting note, though, he did face, they said he faced like 12 different pitchers. Every time they made a move, it was to counter.
Yeah, Stephen Vogt was ready with different guys,
different
to face
looks
Manny.
for Manny every time. Now, again, when you make $35 million a year, that's going to happen to you. That's going to be the guy that you don't want to let beat you. And he was just not good with the bat. Had that weird defensive play on Friday as well. It just was not going his way. But that play in particular yesterday, just as clutch and smart of a baseball IQ play as you'll see.
Michael King, 7 innings, finished with the 2 hits, the 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, picking up his 8th win of the season. And you look at the Padres rotation, and if you get what you got over the weekend from Waldron, Cease, and King, or anything close to it, it's a great start. But now, of course, you get back into the, okay, what about the rest of the starting rotation? And
buddy, if we was starting a playoff series tomorrow, sure. I like our chances in a short series, right? I really like that exact rotation. Waldron first. Jesse and Tony were talking about how when Waldron leads off a series, he opens the series. It makes it so much harder for all the guys to game plan, and it just sets them up in a better way because you can't really prepare for that knuckleball, and it throws you off your game.
Yeah, cart in front of the horse, but I don't know that if I'm leading off a playoff series.
I'm just saying.
I probably have to go with Cease.
Of course. I would probably do the same thing, but what I'm telling you is those guys, and Tony Gwynn Jr. was one of them that said it too, and I want to dig a little deeper into that.
Now, do you mix up Waldron in between Cease and King, the hard-throwing right-handers?
But it just makes it...
Change up the looks, maybe.
It makes it really hard for them to game plan in game one, which is the game you got to have. It makes it really difficult to game plan for the entire series. So he's such a wild card, Matt Waldron is, and he has pitched brilliantly. He deserved that win.
I feel like all 3 of them are wild cards. Cease has been a little bit more consistent
the last couple,
late.
Yeah, as of late.
But he had a long stretch of inconsistency.
Right.
Yeah.
And King, when he's on, he's as sharp as anybody in baseball.
Well, this may blow your mind. Michael King, since May 1st, only Chris Sale and Garrett Crochet have a higher F4 since May 1st. So that's all of May, all of June, and now most of July.
King was a home run dispenser in April.
He had
since
a rough
then, he's
April.
been fantastic.
He's been fantastic.
He's really been good since the start of May.
Top 3 pitcher in baseball in F4 since May 1st. So, I love what I'm seeing from him. And the thing that keeps creeping into my head is his stupid innings. And I'm like, Woodsy, I can't worry about it. I can't worry about the mileage on his arm. He's preparing. He's executing. And it's going to be so hard without reserves, without backup, the cavalry coming in to eat some innings down the road to get him a little bit more rest. It's going to be so hard to facilitate a huge win streak.
Like, how do they manage that?
How do you manage it?
Is he going to be like an opener a couple of games? Like, hey, you're going to throw an inning or 2.
I don't know. I really, really don't know how to manage it. It's all based on look, we saw Seth Lugo do it. We've seen guys do it. Guys are doing it. Garrett Crochet is doing it. He's doing it. Like, they know what that number is.
Well, at some point, you have to take the shackles off as a pitcher. Like,
right.
At some point in your young career,
probably
you're
going
to throw the most. Right. But AJ went out and got him. He was the centerpiece of the biggest trade of the offseason.
Well, look at Seth Lugo. Last year, the Padres took some of the shackles off, but he did have that injury in like May.
Yeah, it was a calf though.
That kept him off and kept his innings down a little bit. Now he exceeded it as a starter where he had been the previous few years. Do you know who's thrown the most innings in all
Seth
of
Lugo.
baseball this season?
Guys have been
Seth Lugo.
Been unbelievable.
And maybe next year Michael King can, lead baseball in innings thrown, but it's not going to happen this season. There's still going to be somewhat of a limit.
Contention. You were hoping to contend for a playoff spot this year when you acquired him. You didn't acquire him just to have him sit for that postseason run.
Well, no, and hence why you need reinforcements. Here's the juggling
You also
act.
didn't think your top 2 starters would be out.
Right. How do you juggle needing to win a lot of games while also making sure he's healthy and not overexerting himself more than he already has in his entire career? You have to bring in, and by the way, still winning games. You could absolutely go out and get a Patrick Corbin or somebody that's going to just, hey, I'm going to give you 7. We're going to be down 8-0 or 8-3. But I'm going to give you 7 innings. Like, those guys are a dime a dozen. Dallas Keuchel's out there right now. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of guys that can go out and
you have those
innings.
guys in your system.
They're there. They're absolutely there. The juggling act is you also have to win baseball games. You also have to win baseball games at that time. So this isn't, we have such a comfortable lead, we can just cruise. You're going to have to ride Michael King. You're going to have to ride Dylan Cease. You're going to have to ride Matt Waldron.
Dub J in the chat asks an interesting question. Because of the inning counts mounting, do you think they would have let King go for the no-no had he gotten through the 7th? Now, his pitch count was pretty low.
It was low.
My guess is Mike Schilt is kind of glad that he didn't have to make that decision and was able to pull Michael King 7 strong innings and just have no doubts that he could go to Estrada, and then he knew he had Suarez for 4 outs if he needed it.
100%.
Worked out very well, as you said.
Talked about it. We can play that after the
He was
break
set up
there.
well. All right, we'll play that when we come back. Do want to mention Xander Schauffele's win yesterday as well. Recent Ben and Woods guests back in the major winners circle yesterday, and take on Woods ahead on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits. Still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. So Paulie says we had some sound. I missed it after the game yesterday. But the question of whether Michael King would have been allowed to go for the no-hitter had he made it through the 7th inning. And his pitch count wasn't that high. I think it was in the 70s getting into the 80s.
It's amazing.
This is what Mike Schilt had to say about it after the game yesterday.
He had the pitch count to maybe get there too, thinking about a lot of different scenarios when you get that late in the game. You got to think about a lot of different things. But, if he can navigate to 7th, he's going to grab the 8th. We'll have somebody back him up. He gets the 8th, and we'll keep riding it from there.
He finished with 85 pitches
after through 7 innings. So, just 85. He could have gone into the 8th even having allowed the run. But at that point, with no-hitter on the line, and they are still concerned about his innings total, it was a pretty easy call for Mike Schilt to go to the Estrada-Suarez combo, knowing Suarez was ready for 4, maybe even 5 outs if they needed it, because he had most of the All-Star break, other than the 2 batters he faced in the All-Star game, since he had pitched last. So, it worked out. Sounds like an easy answer. Yeah, we would have seen what was going to happen and let him try in the 8th, and then maybe or maybe not would have gone all the way for the no-hitter.
Maybe he would. Maybe he would.
It's I'm all for it if it happens, but that guy in that spot at this time of the season, I don't know. Maybe I'm nervous Nelly about it, but I just think the pragmatic thing to do is is to use the guys that are there, that are ready and healthy, and really, fresh. And Robert Suarez is one of the best in the game, and Estrada too. Listen, he didn't have to make that decision, so I'm glad we don't have to argue about it.
But the problem the Padres have right now, and yes, they had Estrada and Suarez, but at some point, Estrada and Suarez are going to be used 2 days in a row, and you're going to have Michael King going well, but getting close to 100 pitches, in the 7th inning. And then you're going to have to decide, do I go to Steven Kolek or do I keep Michael King in and push him? Because I know the best choice for us to win is probably to keep Michael King in there because he's your better pitcher.
To win today, yeah.
To win today, but
It's tough, dude.
Am I costing myself Michael King innings when it might be more important later in the season or in the playoffs? And when you don't have a deep bullpen, and you don't have, more than 4 starting pitchers right now, how can you not ask too much of the 4 guys who are going? Right away. The Padres are probably going, I think, in fact, they did announce it's going to be Randy Vasquez and then Matt Waldron and Dylan Cease. So, yes, they have a day off, so they'll be going on normal rest. But if you had a 5-man rotation, you could be getting everybody an extra day. Right now, just go with a normal 5-man rotation. But they don't have a 5-man rotation.
No.
They have a 4-man rotation at this point, and they're using the off day. They'll need a 5th starter. I think on Saturday is when they will need one, and either they'll have to call up Johnny Brito.
No, he's hurt.
He's even hurt?
He's
okay,
hurt.
so someone else from the minors?
They were stretching him out, and it was just kind of a little quick blurb in Kevin Acey's newsletter the other day, and he's kind of hurt his elbow after his best start in AAA. So I don't know how hurt he is. I don't know if it's just a little tight inflammation, whatever. But he's now they're looking at that as well. So is this going to be an Adam Major day? Is it going to be a bullpen day, which gives me the sickest fits of all time? We are not a team that can afford a bullpen day. We're just not. And I don't even know how you would navigate that right now. I really don't. And not screw yourself. Now, they've got a lot of off days, this month, which is good. But, listen, which is why the trade deadline is in, a week from tomorrow. This is why reinforcements in the bullpen and in the starting rotation are needed. Deacon tweeted last night, Padres fans, do we really need to be buyers to get into the playoffs? I think the answer is unequivocally, yes. Absolutely. Now, at what level you want to buy, that's up for debate. But the answer is
you have to buy a couple arms still here. You have to buy
it's
arms.
like the biggest no-brainer of all time. Out of all the trade deadlines we've needed someone, this one, with this team and what they've shown us that they're capable of at times this year, this has been the greatest need right now today. Now, again, we don't know when August, right? Which is a week away.
And he did throw again off a bullpen.
Felt good.
So far, so good.
That would be a nice addition, but it still ain't enough because you don't know how long you can trust that Joe will be in the rotation. Yu Darvish, is still a mystery. We don't know when he's coming back. So I think the answer to that question is a 100% resounding yes. No question about it.
Need a contestant for Take on Woods if you're ready to challenge Woodsy in our musical trivia game to try to win a chance to go to Las Vegas for 2 nights, dinner, day bed at the Rio Pool. Give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. That's the number to use.
BBD's in the chat says innings limits are BS. Ask the Nats and Steven Strasburg. Pitch until it falls off.
I don't think that's the argument.
That's not the.
Maybe you think it is.
I don't know that that's the guy that you want to use since they're paying him like $30 million for the next 8 years because he can't pitch anymore.
Now, if you told me, okay, yeah, if you push Michael King, Padres are definitely winning a World Series, maybe I'd go, all right, I'll take my chances going forward. But what if you push Michael King, don't win the World Series, and you end up with a Steven Strasburg situation where Michael King is never effective again the rest of his life?
It won't be
because you pushed him.
It won't be a Strasburg situation because you don't owe him $300 million over the next 10 years or whatever Steven's getting. But so that's not the exact example I would use.
Manuel said along the same lines. He said, "Stop babying the pitchers. Let them pitch. We all know eventually they're going to have TJ."
I mean,
at this point in this day and age, it's almost like
has he had one?
Michael King? Ooh, good question. I don't think so.
No, I tend to jump towards yes. He has already had.
That
one,
is generally the correct
it's a good
answer.
assumption.
Actually, I'm going to send Bo in for one here pretty soon.
Knock it out early.
He's 6. Just get it done, strengthen that ligament, and let's go.
Before we get to Take on Woods, congratulations to Xander Schauffele
no doubt.
on a second major title this year. If you don't follow golf that closely, at least as closely as I do, I just can't tell you how impressive Xander Schauffele was yesterday in the final round of the Open Championship. What's the most impressive thing to do in golf? Win a major.
Win a major.
What's the most impressive way to win a major? By shooting a low round on Sunday and just beating the field. Rarely is that actually how it happens. Usually, hey, you build up a 3-shot lead and maybe you hold on for even par. Other players give it back. Tiger won most of his majors just by letting the rest of the field collapse around him. Xander twice this year has shot a 65 in the final round to win a major. You know how many other golfers have twice shot a 65 to win a major in the final round? One, Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah.
And he did it 20 years apart. Xander's done it twice in 1 year.
Is he now, Xander Schauffele, number 1? I saw you tweeting about it yesterday. He's moving up the ranks. He's got to be number 1. 2 majors?
Well, Phil has more majors, obviously, in golf. He's a San Diegan, too, so I can't immediately put Xander to the top. But he's got many years left, and he's halfway to the Grand Slam. He's the, outside of Scotty Scheffler and maybe even including Scotty Scheffler, the hottest golfer in the planet right now.
Is he the new world number 1?
No, still Scotty. Scotty's so far ahead in points just from what he's done. But they did it. I mean, you could open up the Player of the Year race. If Xander wins the FedEx Cup or wins one of the playoff events and gets a 3rd win, they'll at least talk about it. 2 majors versus 1. Scotty has 6 wins in a major right now, probably still ahead of Xander's only 2 wins or majors. But the fact that a San Diego kid, someone who grew up here, played college golf here.
Yeah, buddy.
Managed the insane weather, especially on Saturday when it was as brutal, as it gets at the British. I mean, raining constantly, heavy winds.
Nasty, dude.
They were hitting drivers into par 3s and not getting there. Xander, you'd think, would be the least equipped.
It's like our buddy Foster, Paulie,
in
when
that
he
kind
has
of
to hit
weather.
the driver on a par 3 and not reach the greens. Just like him, except there's no wind.
And all the other guys who were just complaining and collapsing and going, this course is too hard, and Xander's just like...
Just grinding it.
La-di-da, it's fine,
Oh, I saw Shane Lowry pissing and moaning.
Guy from Ireland.
Ireland. Like, bro, you're used to this. Are you kidding? What are you talking about?
But Xander, San Diego guy, conquers the elements, conquers Royal Troon, and wins his 2nd major of the year to really take a big leap up now in the pantheon of golfers here.
And not only a big leap up in the pantheon of golfers, his MO before that first one was the guy that can't get it done.
Right.
The choker, the guy that never
Can't
gets
close.
it done. He cannot close.
Now
Okay?
he's the best closer in majors, maybe of his generation all of a sudden.
Incredible. What a astounding
And Xander
accomplishment.
said afterwards that winning the PGA 2 months ago helped him down the stretch. Like, okay, I've done this before. I can do it again. Just having that knowledge that he's done it helped him immensely. Bogey-free, 65. What a round yesterday for Xander Schauffele. Congratulations. Hopefully we can get him on the show again soon, talk about another major win.
If we don't, I can just sub in new questions, and Paulie can edit the answers
From
from
the
the
last
last
time?
major.
That's fair enough.
Yeah, we could do that. If for some reason we can't get him this time, but congratulations to him and his dad. Breaking down made me vomit from emotions. Incredible.
Stephen Schauffele. He wasn't. Remember, his dad wasn't there for
at the last
one.
one.
Yeah.
What was he doing? He was moving or something?
I don't know. They just didn't realize, I guess. Well, he's been on a lot of these. We don't have to go to every single one of them, do we? They missed it, so he wasn't going to miss this one,
Oh, dude,
and he was there.
It was elite.
All right, you ready for a little take on Woods? All right, let's get to it. And I got Mark as our contestant hanging on. Mark, good morning. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Good.
Boy.
Good. All right, Take on Woods is brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. It only takes 15 minutes. You don't have to get out of your car. For directions and discounts, go to SoCalOilChange.com. That's SoCalOilChange.com. If you can beat or tie Woods, again, we'll put you into the drawing for the 2-night trip to the Rio Las Vegas. 2-night stay, dinner for two, day bed at the Rio Pool. Completely reimagined with new owners. Book now at RioLasVegas.com. I don't like to waste anything, so we had 2 categories left over from summer break last week. Girl Power from the 2000s and 2010s, and 3 Times a Lady. Those are songs with either girl or lady in the title. We also have Seen and Heard, which are 5-song titles that include the word seen or heard, and a bonus 4th category, boy bands. Bands or artists with boy or boys in the title. So you got 4 choices here, Mark. Girl Power, 3 Times a Lady, Seen and Heard, or boy bands. What would you like to pick?
Let's try boy band.
Boy bands. All right. Again, this is specifically bands or artists with boy or boys somewhere in the name. You'll have 60 seconds. Answer as many of the 5 as you can. If you don't know an answer, say pass. We'll come back to it if there's time left on the clock. First question is the 2-second song. Paulie's going to play a little music. You need to give me the title of the song and the artist that includes boy or boys to score that point. 2-parter. So, Mark, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get going. 60 seconds on the clock. Your time begins when Paul plays the music. The category is boy bands. Good luck, Mark. Let's take on Woods. Which Canadian band is best known for 80s hits Turn Me Loose and Working for the Weekend?
Loverboy.
Correct. Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe are the English duo behind which synth-pop band you might just find in the West End of London?
Pet Shop Boys.
Correct. Which artist performed under the stage name Lieutenant Lush during a brief stint with Bow Wow Wow before finding success as the lead singer of Culture Club?
Boy George.
Correct. Which 21st century band from Illinois is known for hits ranging from Dance Dance to Uma Thurman to Centuries?
Pass.
Go back to the 2-second song. You know this one.
I don't know. Smoking in the boys' room, Motley Crue.
No. Which 21st century band from Illinois is known for hits ranging from Dance Dance to Uma Thurman to Centuries?
Fall Out Boy.
Yeah! Oh, nice pull, Mark,
Wow.
for a 4-pointer. But will it be enough? That could be enough for a tie. You got Loverboy, Pet Shop Boys, Boy George, and Fall Out Boy. The one you didn't get, the 2-second song, that was Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. So let's bring Woods in. This should be a dramatic game, if I know my Woods. All right, Mark's score is locked in. Woods doesn't get the category.
Very demonstrative in here, I saw through the window. Wow.
Some excitement
Guess
at the
so.
end.
Wow.
All right, 60 seconds back on the clock. Same 5 questions. Woods, your time begins when Paul plays the music. Good luck. Let's take on Mark. That's you, Paul.
That's Sabotage by the Beastie Boys.
Correct. Which Canadian band is best known for 80s hits Turn Me Loose and Working for the
Loverboy.
Week? Correct. Neil Tennant and Chris Lowe are the English duo behind which synth pop band you might just find in the West End of London?
Pet Shop Boys.
Correct. Which artist performed under the stage name Lieutenant Lush during a brief stint with Bow Wow Wow before finding success as the lead singer of Culture Club?
Boy George.
Correct. Which 21st century band from Illinois is known for hits ranging from Dance Dance to Uma Thurman to Centuries?
Uma Thurman. It's Fallout. No. Fallout Boy?
Yes! And that is the difference. 5-4.
Wow.
Mark also pulled out Fall Out Boy at the last second. Mark, I'm sorry. Great game. Not enough today as Woods holds the title for another day. Give it another try later this month. We got a few more days left here in July to qualify people for the trip to Las Vegas. Boy bands. Bands and artists with boy or boys in the name.
Love it.
All right, we'll take a time out. Woods, you wanted to tease something for you think it's a do this, so.
It should go down in history. He should go down in history, and he is already going down in history. We need to have a discussion about Nick Castellanos because he did it again. And I've got the entire list of all of the things that he does when there is a huge moment in American history.
You say we'll remember him for centuries.
For centuries.
Nick Castellanos.
That's right.
Coming up next with Ben and Woods after traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Don't do this. Brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. Craft Taco has some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. Thecrafttaco.com. Woodsy, get us started today.
Well, from the massive creep files, LSU sophomore cornerback Javian Toviano has now surrendered to authorities on charges of video voyeurism. The East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff is hard to say. Parish Sheriff's Office said. He's 19 years old, plays for the LSU Tigers, and was recording a woman, not to her knowledge. She had no idea she was being recorded through a camera that was in his alarm clock placed near the bed. And she had caught him before recording, and she said, I do not want to be recorded. Don't record this. He said,
I do not give you my consent to be filmed.
And he said, yeah, all right, I won't. So then he went and got a hidden camera to record it. She found them on his iPad. And he's now been suspended from all team activities in accordance with departmental policies. No further comment out of the university. I don't imagine you could let that guy suit up again for your program.
I don't know. I mean, Mike Gundy was his coach.
Yeah.
Probably would be
like
something
we've done 1,000 times. I've done 1,000 times. I didn't even know it was wrong.
I mean, if that's all,
That's it. No. I mean, seriously, like, not to make light of it, but like, that's way creepy. Way
Really
creepy. Gross.
All right, I'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
And we'll go on to story number 2.
No thoughts on voyeurism, Ben?
Yeah, no thoughts on voyeurism. Are you a voyeur?
Against it?
Are you? Would you say you're a voyeur?
I would not say
Can't even
that.
ask him with a straight face.
No.
Are you more of an exhibitionist?
No, although I get the sense that we'd all be better off if we had less hang-ups about, nudity in our personal bodies. Like, that's like when nude pictures leak, it's embarrassing. Like, of course. And I would be embarrassed and you'd be embarrassed if they were plastered all over the internet.
Yourself.
But everybody has a body. And
everybody has a body.
And we shouldn't be shaming or making fun of people for their bodies.
Right.
So it really shouldn't be that embarrassing because we all have them.
But let me ask you this. If you go on a business trip, I don't know what business trip you'd go on away from us, but you go on a business trip and you are in your hotel and you look down by the pool and there's a couple making love. Do you turn and do you walk back into your room or would you watch?
Well, that's an interesting question. I mean, if they were out by the pool,
in
out there where anyone could see them.
Right. You wouldn't get a telescope.
No,
or
but
anything,
they're probably doing it because they want to be watched, right?
That's what I think.
I would help out by watching.
Those are two consenting adults
Yes.
doing it.
Yeah. Out in public.
And I think there is like a rush of potentially being seen.
I'm not into that.
I'm not going to report them. I'm not going to
Would you
call up
them
to the hotel desk and report them.
There's 2 people down by the pool doing something very untoward, and I would like
Some people would. I wouldn't report them.
The difference, of course, being in this story from LSU,
no
this
one knew.
woman
She did
not know what was happening. It was a hidden camera and an alarm clock.
Incredible.
Which is really creepy.
But, I mean, remember the Aaron Andrews story in the hotel?
Awful. The Pepe hole, I remember.
Pepe hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful. But no one should ever shame Aaron Andrews. Didn't do anything.
She didn't do
wrong.
a damn thing.
Nothing at all.
Took her clothes off in her hotel room.
Right. Nothing at all. Nothing wrong. There should be no embarrassment or shame or anything associated with that other than the person who did it.
Yeah, the person who did it. Yeah. But you would see how you wouldn't want that out there.
All right, story number 2. This is with the Olympics coming up. Japanese gymnastics star Shoko Miyata will not be competing in Paris after an investigation determined she violated team rules. Now, 19-year-old, she's the reigning national title holder. She won bronze at the 2022 World Championships in the balance beam. So one of the top gymnasts on the team. What did she do that was so bad that got her kicked off the Olympic squad? Will?
Oh, man. Let's see.
It's not video voyeurism.
No. Disrespected a coach.
It's not that. She violated team rules. She was smoking and drinking alcohol.
Ooh.
Which is not against...
She underage?
She is 19, so she is underage. Japanese Gymnastics Association issued an apology for the controversy and says Miyata owned up to her actions. Her coach called for sympathy over the matter, citing huge expectations to excel at the international level. She was spending her days burdened with so much pressure. I would implore people to understand that. Now it's 20 is the drinking and smoking age in Japan. So she was
kidding.
a few months away from legal age. Would any American athlete be like if a 20-year-old was caught smoking? Well, it's legal to smoke, but a 20-year-old was caught drinking.
No.
Do you think?
I don't think so.
They would be kicked off like a national team for that.
I don't either. I don't think so.
I don't think that would happen.
I don't think so either.
Coach might talk to them.
Stern.
There might be like, hey, some private consequences, but I don't think they'd get kicked off the team for it.
Yeah, I agree.
But in Japan, a little more rules-based
society. Very, very stringent.
They are not giving her a second chance, and she will not get to compete at the Olympics.
That's a tough one, man.
Yeah.
That's a real tough one. Let's do a do-do this. I think it's a do-do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
Nick Castellanos has certainly what one would call a flair for the dramatic. And it happened again yesterday as President Joe Biden has withdrawn from the race. And shortly after the president said, I will not be seeking a second term, this happened.
1-2 pitch, swung on, and that one's hit well. Left field, going back on it is Reynolds. He's at the track, he's looking up, and that one's not coming back. Nick Castellanos, a solo shot here in the ninth, his 14th of the season, and the Phillies now lead it 6-0.
So again, it's Nick Castellanos. He's not, he's not Barry Bonds. He's not Aaron Judge. He's not Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani hit his 30th last night. He's 14 over. It's pretty good, but, Manny's not having a great year. He's got 13, right? Nick Castellanos, somebody tweeted this out yesterday. Here's a list.
He also almost had one earlier in the game.
Yeah.
He hit like off the wall or up to the warning track and just missed it.
Here's a list of all of the Castellanos home run during significant events. You ready? We all remember the after the apology for the homophobic slur on the broadcast. That happened in the middle of the apology.
There's
a deep drive to left, and I don't think I'm coming back here again. What was his name? Tom Brenneman? That's right.
It's actually coming back and doing a game, I think I saw
Then
recently.
the career-threatening injury for Fernando Tatis Jr., a eulogy for a World War II veteran, a 9/11 tribute video package on the air. I remember that. The apology of opposing team's coach getting a DUI, 10 minutes after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, right after Dwayne Haskins' death, right after the Memorial Day tribute package on air, the eulogy for the just-deceased PA announcer for the stadium, the cancer announcement for his own team's owner, the Vin Scully death announcement, an hour after the death of Queen Elizabeth was announced, a bridge collapsing, killing several people, the Ocean Gate submarine explosion, 3 other celebrity deaths, 2 home runs on the anniversary of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the assassination attempt on Trump, and Biden withdrawing from the race.
Okay.
It's actually
and Paulie, what was the other one? Like his when he was in the minor
leagues?
leagues?
Over and I opened it, and not one of the comments, most of the comments were like, "Oh, brother, check out what his first professional home run was.
Yep.
His first home run as a professional baseball player was like low A, minor
West
leagues.
Michigan A-ball."
And it was May 2011.
Yep.
It was the day Osama bin Laden was killed.
Now, he can't know what's going on.
No, it just happens.
He didn't know Tom Brenneman was apologizing.
No, he had
air.
no idea.
He doesn't know when they're running.
I pride myself and think of myself as a man of faith.
Right.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be a home run. And so that'll make it a 4-0 ball game.
Like, that feels like it was the first one. But I think that was just the first one that we started paying attention to.
Yeah, of course, because it was so, wild. He's right in the middle of it, and there's a deep, and Brenneman in the middle of his apology.
There's always home runs on every day.
Sure.
Significant. There's baseball, there's home runs on days significant things happen.
Sure.
We just have finally recognized, starting there, that
he's
somehow
a witch.
Castellanos always seems to be one of the guys with a home run.
He's a witch.
But he doesn't know that these things are happening.
People, literally ran yesterday to place bets. After Biden withdrew, they ran and placed bets, and people won.
My brain doesn't
work that way either, and I love to place bets, and I didn't even think about it. The next time something happens, man, I'm going and putting $100 on Castellanos.
Like the Phillies, okay, let's say something.
The odds are going to be nothing now. You're going to win. You bet 100 to win 103.
Right. Let's say something happens on a Wednesday, but the Phillies don't play on a Wednesday. Is it like his next game?
Not
or does
sure.
it have to be the day of? I need to know the rules and all the parameters.
It's day of.
I think it's mostly day
They're
of.
all day of.
Sometimes it's hour of or moment
yes.
of, though.
Yes.
You can't predict
Bro,
it.
the 9/11 package is running while he's hitting and home run. Like, it's insane. He's a witch. He's a witch. And I think it's
incredible.
I think it's an incredible story.
And that's Don't and Do This for a Monday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Junior says he's a time traveler. He knows the future, so he goes back and hits home runs on the days that are significant. I don't even think that works because it's hard to hit a home run.
It's very hard.
You can't just decide, okay, today is the day I'm hitting a home run.
Yeah, something happened. I'm going to hit a home run. It just doesn't work that way.
All right, we'll come back.
I mean, if you had that power, just hit a home run every time you feel like it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just be the greatest home run hitter of all time. Just hit like 4 a game. You're good.
He is incredible.
There's some sorcery happening here.
He's a witch.
All right, we have a couple more Padres games to go over from the weekend. They were both 7-0 finals.
Yes.
Just opposite winners in Cleveland. We'll talk about Friday and Saturday's matchups when we come back with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
A few things we could have put in Don't Do This thing. We could have done like a 7-parter of Don't Do This. We didn't have the time. We're talking about USA basketball there in the break. Did you guys see Big Papi make the Hall of Fame induction ceremony about himself again and go and touch Adrian Beltre's head? Can you?
Something like creepily
hiding
behind the curtain, just kind of waiting for his moment.
They mentioned it in the chat. Like, bro, just can you is it possible for you to let somebody have a moment?
Like Robert Suarez at the All-Star.
Right. Just, hey, buddy. You having fun?
Hey, Yankees suck.
Hey,
am I right?
Hey, you going to beat the Yankees? Yeah. Okay. Hey, buddy, you having fun? You going to hit a homer? No, they've actually pulled me from the game, so I'm ineligible to hit again.
While Adrian Beltre gives his speech, let's cut to Papi interviewing some of the Hall of Famers who are
isn't
sitting
this
here.
cool to be in here? What'd you think of that luncheon? Bro. So that was one. He's annoying now. I know he's beloved, and he's got the gap in his teeth and everything else, and it's great. Relax, dude. Do less. You're one of the best I've ever seen. One of the most feared hitters of all time. Let that be enough.
Right.
Let it be enough.
I don't think he's not as entertaining or funny to me as
Paulie,
Fox wants him to be.
He's not as entertaining or funny as he thinks he is.
You know what? TNT, Turner, whatever. Like, give me all the Charles Barkley content.
Yeah, he's
like
100%.
They want him to be
phenomenally
baseball's
funny.
Charles Barkley.
He
and he's
ain't
not.
It's
And
not
he's
even
just
close.
Not. He's not as clever. He's not as likable.
That's what they're doing, right?
He's
that's
not.
What they're trying
he's not
to do?
Charles Barkley. Yes, they're exactly trying to make him on the set be the Charles Barkley of inside the NBA, but inside the MLB, and he's sitting there trying to be Charles Barkley.
Barkley doesn't do stuff like that. He doesn't do annoying stuff. He doesn't.
No, he's just naturally.
He's just
funny.
naturally funny, and like everything he says is just funny. Like he's got that thing.
He's also very insightful.
Yes.
When it comes to basketball at times.
And there's just no reason for it. So we could have done that. Of course, he had to go and touch Adrian's head and Big Papi, look at me. And then the basketball, Paul, I didn't see this. I was probably making love or in a tub soaking somewhere when this happened, but fill me in on
I ran some highlights on Saturday. So in London, Team USA, LeBron and Anthony Davis and company. These are just tune-ups. Yeah, tune-up exhibition games before the Olympics. And they were taking on South Sudan, which is actually the newest nation in the world. They're like 13 years old.
Nice.
Split off from Sudan. Just a fledgling basketball program, but a kind of a basketball hotbed. The Aztecs have had a number of players from that area come in and be part of the team.
Players, I think.
Yeah. And they had some ex and current NBA players on their squad, but they were up like 16 at halftime, double digits in the third quarter. The U.S. team needed to rally, and then South Sudan hit a three with like 15 seconds left to take a 1-point lead, and LeBron drove to the basket to put them back up by one with like 6 seconds left. And then Sudan had like two shots at a layup and put back to win it. Didn't get a foul call. Could have gotten a foul call, but the referees are going to swallow their whistles when it's South Sudan against Team USA in an exhibition game. And U.S. held on by one. Now, had they lost, what are the consequences? None. It's just an exhibition game. Would have been an amazing moment for South Sudan. Was anyway, just the fact that they played that well.
Hung that tough.
And maybe it's a bit of a wake-up call for Team USA that the Olympic tournament's not going to be quite the cakewalk that some people think it's going to be. Basketball around the world is good. It just is very good. The U.S. has the best team, and it's maybe the best team since the Dream Team, but the Dream Team didn't have to take on the kind of squads that are now around the world. Back then, it was ridiculous, the difference in talent level. Not so much anymore. It'll be an interesting Olympic basketball tournament.
I'm actually looking forward to this. You know how I feel about basketball, but I'm looking forward to it. I don't want them to lose, obviously, but that brings a little bit more cachet to it. The fact that they may not win with all of this star power.
They did announce this morning that LeBron James is going to be the flag bearer for the opening ceremony for Team USA in Paris this Friday. And when I first heard it, I was like, shouldn't that go to like an Olympic athlete? Not that he's not an Olympic athlete, but maybe someone who only gets to like showcase, every 4 years, that only gets to really have the spotlight this one 2-week period. LeBron
Simone
is
Biles.
always in the spotlight every single year. But then I found out that it's a vote of Olympians,
it's killer.
and he won the vote. So, okay.
Makes sense.
I mean, if they picked him, and, he's a good representative for Team USA.
100%.
So he will be the male flag bearer. I think tomorrow they announce the female flag bearer for Team USA.
And this bad boy kicks off, what, Friday?
Yeah, Friday.
Ooh, boy, all right. Here we go.
All right, we have traffic still? Let's check traffic, and then we'll go back over the other two games, Friday and Saturday's Padres games in Cleveland, matching 7-0 games, win and loss, next on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Watch out for some debris in the HOV lane southbound 15 right before Mira Mesa Boulevard. And we got a crash on South 163 before Friars Road. It's been cleared into the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This hour on The Fan brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. From a healthier weight to more energy, when you switch your dog's food to the Farmer's Dog, the effects can feel magical. What sorcery is this? None at all. It's just real food made for the health of dogs. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/radio. All right, 7-0 win, 7-0 loss, Saturday and Friday. But again, as we said earlier, two very good pitching performances. Dylan Cease was amazing for the second straight outing. He was terrific in his last start before the break, maybe even better on Saturday. 7 innings, the 1 hit, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, back-to-back 10 strikeout games, as good as consecutive performances as you're going to see in Major League Baseball.
Nasty. Just as nasty and unhittable as you could get.
Yeah,
man.
his last two start total, 13 innings, 2 hits, 21 strikeouts.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Whatever he's unlocked, it's going really well. And that's a good team. That's a really, really good team he beat on Saturday.
That's the Dylan Cease the Padres were hoping that they traded for
at
the start of the season.
And we've seen it. We've seen it plenty. There have been some uneven starts, certainly. But we've seen really good Dylan Cease
now,
this year.
I don't know if you remember, but the very first batter of the game, Stephen Kwan, roped one that hooked just foul.
Just foul.
Just foul.
Yeah,
And when
I
he
thought,
hit
here
it,
we go again.
When he hit it, I thought, oh, wait, Cease just had a good start. What is he going to do?
Give up
Give up a
bombs.
home run in the first inning,
Down
give up some
1-0.
runs, and be down early.
Yep.
But it hooked foul, and after that, you really never thought about it again because he was that dominant the rest of the game. But there is that tendency still sometimes early for Dylan Cease. Just avoided the trouble this time and locked in and was absolutely fantastic. Offensively, Padres put together kind of a weird rally in the 4th inning. They loaded the bases. Luis Camposano ripped, I think it was the hardest hit ball of his career.
Yeah.
An RBI single to score the first run. And then Luis Arraez drew a walk, which he hadn't been doing much, but he kind of just decides what he wants to do. I think I read in the UT that the team had said, hey, we would like you to try to walk a little bit more. And he said, okay, I'll just swing a little bit less. And he drew that walk to drive in a run. And then Jake got hit with 2 outs to drive in a 3rd run. Weird rally off Gavin Williams, but that gave Dylan Cease plenty of offense. Good to see him adding on. They had the 4-run 8th with the David Peralta and Jake Cronenworth home runs as well. Jake's now tied for the team lead. 14 home runs, same as Jurickson, same as Fernando Tatis Jr., and one ahead of Manny. Now, 14 isn't a terrific total for your team leader when guys like Shohei have 30 at this point.
Yeah, but Shohei
when you have,
Ohtani.
but they also have more guys, at that 14, 13 level than most teams do. So kind of balances out in the end. They don't have one super duper home run hitter, but they've had more than most teams get to double digits.
Our team leader's been out for how long? In Fernando Tatis Jr.
True.
So
he could be in the 20s at some point. Yeah,
absolutely.
He had stayed healthy.
And so good to see David Peralta heating up a little bit. That's a bat I think we're going to need, down the stretch from the left side. Great win. Great win. Great bounce back win. And, obviously starting pitching sets the tone. And you just felt after you watch him lock in, you're like, they're not beating us. There's no way. They couldn't get anything going off him.
David Peralta, I'm glad you mentioned it. He has been hitting well, and he started all 3 games in right field. Seems like he's now the starter against right-handers, at least until Fernando Tatis Jr. comes back, which is good that he's heating up. It also means that Donovan Solano is the missing man. I don't think he played at all this weekend. He'd been such a key member of the Padres lineup, but with Xander Bogaerts back,
And playing well.
And
by
playing,
the way. Playing really well.
he had some good, strong
4
line drives.
multi-hit games in the 5 games that he's been back.
There's really no spot for Donovan Solano in the lineup right now.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, if you need to give Manny a blow, and you might, as bad as he looks.
But you're not going to give him a blow against a lefty, which is who Donovan plays against primarily.
Yeah.
So really, it's like, do you give Jake a day off against a lefty or maybe a Rise?
Yeah.
You don't really want to take those guys out of the lineup much, though, which makes it harder for Donovan Solano to find a place on this team, which is why Padres fans, they're not picking up Ty France.
No, there's absolutely no need for Ty France.
He was reportedly put on waivers by the Seattle Mariners, and as much as you like Ty France and would love the story of him coming back, they don't even have room for Donovan Solano, who's probably hitting better than Ty France.
Why do we have to do that every time a player gets released? Hey, could we pick him up?
I think it's a bit.
All right. There's a reason.
Trusting.
There's a reason. They're a good team. They released him because he's not playing well.
Yeah.
Donovan Solano has
any good player who's playing well ever been released?
I think he's got 14 home runs too, though. Ty France, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think most of them are earlier in the season. And
just another thing we need, another infielder.
Right. Another right-handed bat.
Doing?
Yeah, I know.
Plus, I think if you claim him, you're on the hook for the rest of his salary, which is not insignificant. So Donovan Solano's cheap and fills that role well, and they don't even need him right now.
Yeah, he's there. He's there. They're not even. They can't even find a spot for him.
Now, can Ty France, throw the 7th inning in the bullpen?
That's a
Great.
story. Then I'll listen.
Pick him up. Yeah, if there's guys like that are available, I will definitely consider adding someone to the Padres roster at this point.
One of those guys that we all know very well is on the block right now. Did you see the news out of Cincinnati?
I did.
That they're listening on
Nick Martinez.
Nick Martinez and Frankie Montas. Now, Martinez signed I believe it's a 2-year, $26 million deal with them.
Yeah.
I don't know that they're going to.
He's pitched pretty well.
He has. I don't know, though, that they're looking for a salary dump. They're not looking to, they're not going to say, yeah, take him, give us a couple prospects, and we'll eat, 80% of that. I don't know that you can swing.
Now, remember, the rest of this year, though, $13 million is only going to be about $5 to $6 million for the last couple of months of the year.
But you're on the hook for 13 the next year.
Yeah.
Right.
But is there an option? Will he opt out?
I don't think there's an option. I don't think
Is there not an option?
I thought it was a 2-year deal, 13 each.
But the Padres are desperate
after next year.
The Padres are desperate enough for pitching that
I would bring him back in a New York
I
minute.
think they even have to consider it at this point and then figure out. I mean, you can always trade him again in the offseason if he throws well enough that there is a team out there that would be willing to probably pay him that amount. Starting pitching is scarce, and he's doing a good enough job that he's earned that money.
And he's pitched both roles this year. He started and he's relieved.
Right.
And again, and
his walk rate is way down. That was the one knock on him.
The thing that they would do to him 100% again is you're gonna start. Like, look, Joe's not here. You're not here.
Joe,
you're starting. They
back
come back and he's like,
back to the
son
bullpen.
Of a bitch, I'm back in the bullpen again. But he's such a team player. He would do it. He's comfortable. He's familiar with with everything.
Is it likely? Maybe not. Would you stock the fridge in the pen with some Red Bull just in case
100%.
he comes back? Sure,
yeah.
Just be ready for a potential reunion.
I'd be fine with it.
No on the Ty France reunion. Maybe on the Nick Martinez reunion. And by the way, the only reason I think that he's available is the Washington Nationals just swept the Cincinnati Reds to really knock him out of contention. Of course, that means the Nationals are still hot and still thinking they've got a shot, and now the Padres have to go to D.C. for the next 3 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week.
Here we go.
All right, we'll come back, reset everything for the final 2 hours of the show. More Padres talk on the way. In-season Sammy joining us as well with Ben Woods on 97.3.
I haven't given you guys your presents from my trip yet. Strap in. We are halfway home on a Monday. Great to be back with you guys. And we are talking all things Padres and really everything else. I was talking to actually the umpire yesterday at the Tier 1 game. And he knows that I'm on the radio. I don't think he listens much. He was asking me some radio insider questions. And I had to give him some, disappointing answers. Hey, like, is this bit real? Not on our show. But it's like, this bit real? I go, it's not, man. I'm sorry. He was blown away. He goes, my wife's going to be devastated. I go, I get it. I was too when I started in this business. And one of the things we've always tried to do on this show is just to be as authentic as possible. Good, bad, warts and all.
I get a lot of people asking, does Woods know the questions and take on Woods in advance?
I get that all the time.
Oh, no. There's no chance I would ever
No, I'm militant
ever tell
it.
him any of the questions in advance.
Yeah, I'm vigilant about that. On my kids' eyes, I have never once cheated or gotten the answers to take on
We've never
Woods.
made up a don't do this story. They're
Never.
all real.
They're all real?
We wouldn't need to. And the Padres are an actual baseball team that plays here in San Diego that we cover. They're not just a bit that we do.
That's exactly
Believe me,
right.
if they were a bit, they'd win more games.
Oh, if it was our story to paint, yeah, absolutely. But so I did spend the weekend out in Palm Desert. Went to a resort with my wife. We had a phenomenal time. Again, I want to thank you guys too for last Friday's birthday show. It was epic. Paulie, I watched the M.R. video a dozen times. I love it. I love that I own it. It's mine. He did it for me. He gave me a birthday shout out. The Boomer Esiason. My dad, Paulie, was actually requesting. Is there a way for you to email
it to him, yes.
that to him? He wants that.
The Boomer clip.
The Boomer, not M.R. He wants nothing to do with M.R.'s clip. He pretends that it doesn't exist.
Gary loves that Boomer Esiason mentioned my son's name
God. He loves
personally.
It. He wants to play it for all his friends down at the golf course, whatever.
Boomer Esiason.
Yeah, look at that. It's my son. It's really cool. So he loved that.
I'll text it to him.
Okay, would you? Thank you. And just thank you guys for making me feel so special and the listeners. So I wanted to do something in return. I was out and about in Joshua Tree, which was about a 30-minute drive from our resort, but we had time to kill. And we went out to the resort to the national park, and we stopped at a little country store. And I wanted to get you guys a treat. And I think I'll make the decision here. Close your eyes. Okay, that's for you. Oh, over here. Come on. I'm nuts. Grab it. There you go. Okay, Paulie, here's yours.
Can I open my eyes yet?
You can open your eyes. That's a treat for each of you. A mid-show snack.
Look, Larvettes, original worm snacks.
Yeah, those are worm snacks. What's the flavor of them?
Mexican spice.
Mexican spice, Paulie. What about your crickets?
I've got salt
got
and vinegar crickets.
Chapulines?
Yeah. So I got you
How
those.
exciting.
And I want to see you. It brings me great joy.
I really think I want to save these.
No. The joy that I would get seeing you enjoy the treats I got you.
I think these are more of a later evening snack. I'll have these tonight when I'm working at Channel 10.
That's fine. Try one now, though. I think you can't.
I'm good.
Just please try one now. You're gonna break my heart.
It was your birthday last week.
But it's like
birthday week's over.
But it's like I'm an Italian mom, and I've made you guys are home from college, and I've made you a meal, and you're refusing me.
Aren't you supposed to take the price tag off when you give a gift?
How much were those?
$3.75.
Oh, mine are only $3.50.
Do you want to trade, Paulie? I'll trade you.
4.3 calories per.
That's it.
Cricket.
It's a light
do that,
snack.
bro.
It's a light snack. Come on, guys.
I'll trade you. These are smaller.
No.
I'll eat one of those if you eat one of these. They're much smaller.
Yeah,
they're tiny.
My kids ate them yesterday. They loved them.
I'm good.
So
Tiny.
Paulie will not
Your kids
participate.
did not eat
wow.
any of these.
Yeah, they did.
Really?
Yeah, I got bacon cheese larvettes, and he loved them. Yeah, they're there. They're for sale. You can eat them.
I know.
Try it. Try a larvette. Paulie, try a cricket.
I really don't want to.
Come on, please.
I
mean,
please.
they wouldn't sell something at a gas
Yeah, if
station
it's not
that
edible,
wasn't really good for you.
It looks too
real. Because it is real. It's actual crickets.
They are real.
But I got the one.
There's like flakes. Just you can.
All right, Ben has got one.
All right.
That is a larvette. And what's the flavor? Mexican spice.
Mexican spice.
All right, here we go. Not
Fun.
bad. Yeah, delicious.
No, it's got a little insecty aftertaste. But
Yeah, which will happen from time to time.
I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. I'd probably have one of his.
Throw yours to Ben. He'll do it.
I can see like a head and eyeballs.
He'll do it. You're from Seattle.
You
Don't you
want
guys
one of-
eat
you want
those
one
at
of mine?
like
No.
Mariners games. They sell them at Mariners games.
Oh, they did that after I moved away.
Crickets.
These are a
and
little
stuff.
bigger. These are crickets.
Crickets. I got you. Those.
What's flavor has this been?
It's a Mexican spice.
Okay. It's like a little.
Shout out Chula Vista.
There you go.
Let's see. All right, so
Pop it right open.
unfortunately,
really taking your
this
time
one
here.
doesn't want to
Just
open.
use
up.
your teeth and bite it.
I can't do
Rip
that.
it open.
Give
it to-
No, I got it. It's one of these that's folded over. I was trying to open it the other way. Good radio.
They look
right?
like mummified bugs.
They are. That's what they are.
All right.
I just
dried out.
Salt and vinegar.
I think Don and Mud
crickets.
did this. Someone, Jeffrey just said. Just ate a cricket. He just put that thing in his mouth.
It's like a salt and vinegar potato chip.
Yeah, good.
Better than the
Better than the other
worm,
one?
actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought about you guys.
fine. Thanks.
And wanted to make sure.
I'd
you
say
guys
we're
had-
even on the gifts that we got you.
I'd say
and
so.
the
Paul,
gifts
if you
that
want
got us.
to rinse that, well, you didn't try.
didn't
it.
try
If I
anything.
wanted to rinse the flavor out, there is ice cream in our freezer, courtesy of JR, our engineer. National Ice Cream Day was yesterday. Just went and checked it out. There's the drumsticks and like the rocket popsicles.
Yeah, like
if
bomb
anyone
pops.
wants one of those.
Okay.
But if it's sweet treats you're after, today is also National. And how would you pronounce this word? Penuche.
Penis.
Today is National Panucci Fudge Day.
Panucci?
And I wasn't sure exactly what.
Is it Panucci?
It is Panucci.
Oh,
what
it's
Panucci
Panucci.
fudge is.
Panucci.
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 I thought it was penis.
It's not Penuche. It's Panucci,
Pinouche.
which is basically a fudge. It's not chocolate fudge. It's it's just the sugar. It's like fudge with just sugar flavored, basically. Kind of butter and sugar in like a cube. It's like a light brown color. I think I like it, actually. So,
Pinouche?
yeah, Pinucci.
Oh, I thought-
Panucci.
Oh, Panuche fudge.
Yeah.
No Panuche fudge in
I
there,
didn't see any Panucci fudge for Panucci Fudge Day. Just ice cream for Ice Cream Day yesterday.
I got the kids they freaked out. I got them the lollipop with the scorpion in it. You know,
Yeah.
they like and they lost their minds. They absolutely they're like they stared at it and they're like, "Can I eat this?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can eat it." And they're like, "What do we do when we get to scorpion?" I go, "I don't know. I've never done it. I've never seen anybody get to the middle."
How
but
many licks does it take
right.
to get to the scorpion?
to
at
get
the
a
center?
deadly scorpion bite on your tongue? I know he's dead, but you never know. So
I'm sure we've done this before, but I guess I'll have to ask again. What's the most odd or strange thing that you've eaten?
Other than the cricket and worms I just had?
Not nothing super weird, man. Nothing super out there. Like at a time, I thought it was ostrich, but a lot of people have eaten ostrich. It was delicious, but now I feel bad for eating it years later. I don't feel bad about the cows though.
Denver, we did Rocky Mountain
I've had
oysters.
those calf fries. We called those.
I mean, the very common
That's
thing
testicles.
around here at any sushi place you go to is uni, which is
Yeah.
the sea urchin, like the very creamy kind of orange, and it's a delicacy. And I always try to like it. I really do because it's expensive. It's the one of the prized things on the menu, but it also sometimes the texture just gets to me a little bit.
I've had lengua, which is tongue.
Yeah.
and I've had cabeza, which is brain.
Yeah.
I've had those. And
No, cabeza's not brain.
I'm sorry. Cabeza
is face. Actually,
What's brain?
Brain is sudaro. No,
Sudaro? I've never had that.
Which was I know the cabeza is actually like
the jaw,
the muscles inside
delicious.
The face, usually of a cow for beef, and it's great for tacos. I mean, you go to a place like Tacos El Gordo, you get a good cabeza taco.
I worked in a restaurant in La Jolla a long time ago. They had a boar's head on the menu.
Like an actual head of a
The
pig, and
boar's
they bring it
head.
out.
And the entire thing, except for the teeth, which were still in there, was edible.
Teeth.
You could
just like a fork and
a spoon. You could just dig it out. And
sesos is
it was
brain.
yeah.
Sesos, that's what brain is. Yeah.
I had escargot, snails.
I've had that. Delicious. Loved it. It's a little earthy, but I had it my birthday last year.
We're more Dietz and Watson people than Boar's Head people, probably.
What, Dietz and Watson?
Like Dietz and Watson. Simply the best. Who's going to eat a big old boar's head? It always domes me out when they bring out the whole fish on a tray.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't want to do that. I don't want that. Just fillet it for me. I
With
don't
the
want
tail and
the
the
eyes
head.
and the whole thing.
It's
I don't want it.
Usually like a whole branzino or something
Now,
like that.
the nastiest thing I've ever seen was in the show Billions, and it's called balut. And somebody just brought it up in the chat. And you have to put a towel over your head to eat it or something.
They used to eat that on
repugnant.
Fear Factor as well. Remember that show?
Isn't it like a bird?
It's like a
bird
it's like
and an egg.
An egg in with the
A
like
fertilized developing egg embryo that is boiled or steamed and eaten from the shell.
It could, like in Pulp Fiction, it could taste like pumpkin pie. I would never know because I'd never eat the filthy ever. That's good. I'm proud of you for eating those, dude. You've now turned into like stunt boy on our show.
I don't want to be
after
stunt
6
boy.
years.
I really don't.
Ben Stunt Boy Higgins.
You know, insects are actually a very common food product around the world.
Absolutely.
It's only here that we kind of have turned them into something that seems like it's gross, but it is a common source of protein for many people around the world. And really, there was nothing that off-putting other than the
way it looks.
The way it looks.
The way it looks.
When you eat it, I mean, nothing. It wasn't great. I'm not going to say that. I love it and it's my favorite food now. But in terms of just a crunchy little snack, not bad at all.
Well, I'm happy that you at least enjoyed your present.
Thank you.
You're welcome
For bringing me.
I was thinking about you.
Crickets and.
Oh, Squirrely says
Larvettes.
try lutefisk. I've had lutefisk. It's disgusting.
Isn't it lutefisk?
Lutefisk.
Lutefisk?
Lutefisk.
Ludacris.
No.
Oh,
That's a rapper.
that's a rapper. What's lutefisk?
It's like a congealed fermented fish of some sort. It's not good. It's that's a Scandinavian delicacy. It's kind of like a jelly texture.
Oh my god,
would not,
fish jelly.
Yeah,
Yeah, my buddy invited me to like big family outing, and that it was a tradition or whatever. And he's like, only problem, like it was a sick place, compound on the lake or whatever. He goes, but you're gonna have to try lutefisk
People are
this weekend.
fascinated by disgusting things, though. That is absolutely true.
I'm not.
You
one of
live
them.
right by the San Diego Botanic Gardens.
Yeah,
and they have every couple of years the corpse flower that blooms, and it draws crowds that people want to come and smell this flower, which smells like a rotting dead body. And it only blooms like rarely, like once every 2 or 3 years. And they've had two that have bloomed here in the last couple of weeks, and people come from miles and miles around just to see and smell this absolutely repulsive, disgusting corpse flower. People love disgusting things.
I am not one of those people. I have no interest in trying lutefisk or any of that.
You can walk
Or
from your
balut.
house to smell the corpse flower.
Pass. My wife's probably smelled it before.
Probably
has. It really smells like a dead body.
It does, a rotting dead body.
Sounds hideous.
Durian fruit is something similar. Smells like rotting flesh, but is a delicacy, especially in Asia. People do love it.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed your treats.
Thanks for remembering us.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Thank
on
you
your
guys for
trip
all.
Thanks so much.
to the desert.
We're all even now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All even.
All right, let's come back. We got 1 week plus a day until the trade deadline. Talked about some of the rumors, but things are supposed to be heating up here in the next couple of days. So talk about that, and then we'll have Sammy joining us, Sam Levitt, after the weekend, covering the Padres and the Guardians, coming up here with Ben and Woods after a check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan. Can't really approach any discussion about the trade deadline without a quick look at the standings to try to figure out which teams are buyers and which teams are sellers right now.
There's a few hybrids as well, I
believe. It's a little more clear in the American League, where the wild card race, the Twins, the Yankees are first, and then the Twins and Royals are tied for the second and third spots. And then the Red Sox, game out, Seattle Mariners, 2.5 games out. After that, the Tampa Bay Rays are a game above 500, which in the National League would put them right in the middle of it. But they're 4.5 games out, and the reports over the weekend are that the Rays are kind of planning to be both buyers and sellers. They're willing to sell for the right price, but they also wouldn't mind picking up a piece or two, so kind of riding the fence. And then everyone below that is probably a seller. The Tigers have not been bad. They're just 2 games under 500. Again, in the National League, they might be in it. 6 games out in the American League, though, they may be looking to sell. Everyone below that, Rangers, Blue Jays, and, of course, Angels, A's, White Sox, probably sellers. The National League is still it's only getting tighter. Somehow the tightest wild card race you're ever going to see is even closer now. The Braves lead. The Cardinals are 2.5 games behind the Braves. And then the Mets, Diamondbacks, and Padres are all in a virtual tie right now for the third wild card spot. The Mets have the percentage point lead, but it's very close. They're all 2 games above 500. And then the Pirates are just a half game out. So, I mean, the Pirates would love to sell and be cheap and do what they do, but they're too close to sell at this point, I would think.
If you look at the NL wild card, Ben, there's 2 teams that are out of it. 2, the Rockies and the Marlins.
Right.
That's it.
And
everybody else is literally in it. The Reds are 4 out, the Nationals 4 out, Cubs 3.5.
It's funny how everybody's in it, yet there's really only one team that scares you in the National League.
In the wild card.
No, I just mean in general.
Oh, the Phillies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everybody's in it.
Everyone's in it. They scare the crap out of me.
But it also feels like it's kind of an open contest right now, minus the Phillies. Like, that's the team to beat.
They're a terrifying baseball.
I mean, had the Cubs lost and got swept by the Diamondbacks yesterday, that might have changed their course a little bit, but they did pull out a win in extra innings. And they're 3.5, so they're kind of still riding the fence as well. The Nationals probably would have been out of it until they swept the Reds. The Reds probably would have been in it until they got swept by the Nationals. So those teams are now both 4 games out.
So this is a huge series against the Nats.
Yeah.
Huge. Massive.
But that also means there's tons of buyers. The Atlanta Braves, who lost Ozzie Albies to 8 weeks with a broken wrist, have acted quickly and cheaply, picking up the waived Whit Merrifield this morning to just try to fill in kind of as a utility guy.
Fill the gap.
But that doesn't mean they're not still interested in adding bodies, with both Acuna and Albies out now for significant periods of time. They probably want to pick up a bat. They've had tons of pitching injuries. I mean, they're not – we did our roundtable last week, and I said I don't think the Braves are necessarily as solidly in as everybody thinks with all the injuries they've had. And now with another big one, if they don't land a player or 2 at the deadline, they could find themselves falling off. I mean, Schwellenbach, who shut down the Padres, he got lit up yesterday by the Cardinals. They dropped 2 of 3 to St. Louis over the weekend. They could find themselves slipping pretty fast without staunching the bleeding a little bit. So none of these teams are completely safe, and none of them other than the Rockies and Marlins are out of it in the National League.
It's crazy. Yeah, and we were just talking about the Pirates. Somebody in the chat goes, the Pirates just took a series from the Phillies this weekend.
Yep.
So
they had won 6 in a row until yesterday, so they're right back in it.
They're right back in this thing. And, I mean, who's the most angry about that is Bob Nutting. He's furious. He wants them off a cliff ASAP. He wants them absolutely off a cliff. Don't want to have to do anything. Don't want to have to spend any money. Don't want to have to add additional payroll. People are finally excited about the Pittsburgh Pirates, his team that he's the owner of, and I'm sure he's furious that they're actually winning series right now.
But that makes this market, and now again, we're just 8 days away from the trade deadline, still extremely muddled as to who is available.
So what's your
what
plan?
The price tag is going to be?
If you're AJ, what's the proper course of action? Listen, the Braves had a need. They filled it with a guy that had been DFA'd, right? And that's not to say
AJ would be killed probably for doing that.
Oh, yeah.
If that was the solution here at the deadline, we'll just pick up a pitcher who's been DFA'd, you go, well, then you're not even trying to win. But the Braves are clearly trying to win.
Sure.
And their first move is to grab a guy who's been DFA'd.
Yeah, to replace Ozzy Albies for at least 2 months. I mean, that's a long time. It's a lot of games. I don't know. I mean, I know for a fact AJ Preller's working the phones pretty hard. Do you expect any sort of flurry of moves to happen even this week?
I do. I mean, there's got to be some moves.
Something's got to pop.
The teams that are selling, at some point, they're going to have to cash in on their chips. The Blue Jays, maybe the Rangers, maybe the Tigers. There's going to be some more players that are sold. And right now, the price tag is going to be so high, it'll be irresistible for those teams to sell. The problem is that AJ can make his best offer. He can make an offer that we think is probably too much for a player like Yusei Kikuchi or even Garrett Crochet. And they could still say no, because guess what? This other team is willing to offer even a ridiculously amount more than you are to get this player right now.
As Satan's Blowfish says in the chat, you can grab guys off waivers when you have enough depth in other spots to weather it. That's the thing I think about the San Diego Padres, and especially in our biggest need, arms. We don't have enough depth to pick up a Dallas Keuchel or something. Like there's just not nearly enough depth to add spare parts. It doesn't have to be necessarily a frontline guy. Frankly, I don't know that you'd want to pay the price for a Skubal or a Garrett Crochet. I don't know that you want to pay that asking price, but you'd probably make an offer on both of those guys, and if it's not enough, it's not enough, and you move on.
So do you guys think, if you had to put money on it right now, 8 days away from the trade deadline, does AJ make another blockbuster trade, like for a Crochet, a Skubal, or is it kind of fringe moves?
I'm going to say middle of the road, where last year was
get rid of a couple of prospects you didn't really know anything about.
Last year was your typical, you buy on the margins, the fringes. I think this is going to be somewhere more in the middle. My opinion, just straight my opinion. You can't really do the Rich Hill, G-Man Choi this year, but you also can't do the Juan Soto either. So I think somewhere in the middle. And listen, there's somebody mentioned in the chat. I love the guy. I hope he doesn't leave, but I know it's probably a foregone conclusion that Ha-Seong Kim, there's a good chance he's traded. What would the Atlanta Braves give you for Ha-Seong Kim?
I don't know that there's
I don't know
that there's a good chance he's traded, but you have to at least talk
to
teams that are interested in Ha-Seong Kim. I think, Paulie, I'm not expecting the top of the market purchase.
Me neither.
They've already made two.
They've already made two of them.
Huge. Those are if those guys were picked up. If those guys were picked up at the deadline, it would.
I think Skubal is the price tag would be insanely high, and Crochet, you just don't know if he's got any innings left, and he's not worth what is going to be asked for.
He's nasty.
So I think I circled the trio of Yusei Kikuchi, Nick Martinez now, and Tyler Anderson is probably kind of the level of where the Padres are going for, and you're going to have to overpay for any one of those three guys as well to get them because of the market. But it would be more than just we remember what happened in 2021 when they didn't have enough pitching and they had to just go onto the scrap heap. And who did they get? Vince Velasquez and
Jake Arrieta.
Jake Arrieta. I mean, you can't go down that road again, but you can't necessarily go top of the market either. So hopefully one of those three guys play all those three teams against each other. Hey, this is my best offer. Whoever calls me back first, a la Moneyball, you've got. I'll take your player and you get my prospect package.
But there is, again, I'll hammer it home. There is an absolute unequivocal need to add right now, as soon as possible, before next Tuesday, a starting pitcher and a reliever.
And if you can throw in a bullpen arm as well, even better.
Yep.
Probably almost just as important.
Got to happen.
All right, we'll take a timeout. Sammy Levitt, we had him off last week for the All-Star break, so we will catch up with in-season Sammy. Covered the weekend series against the Cleveland Guardians. He will join us. His Padres thoughts coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by California Coast Credit Union. Get 9.5% APR rate on a 5-month certificate for a limited time at Cal Coast Credit Union as we celebrate 95 years in the community. $500 minimum balance. Restrictions apply. Insured by NCUA. Visit calcoastcu.org/celebrate. We've got some tickets to give away coming up in our final hour to see comedian Sebastian Maniscalco at Viejas Arena next month. That is coming up, but we got Sammy Levitt standing by. In-season Sammy will join us right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Just one thing to mention here, Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a collision on northbound 5 before 28th Street. Those vehicles are in the center divide. And Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I always feel bad bugging Sammy on his off days.
Today's an off day.
He just had an all-star break,
He just
though.
had a
and
break,
and if I understand correctly, he was getting so bored that he started appearing with other shows and was just aimlessly driving the coastline based on his social media pictures. Sammy, how was your all-star break?
That is pretty much what I was doing on Thursday, aimlessly driving the coastline. But it is a beautiful coastline.
It is.
It was a nice drive, but it was nice. I had some family here. It was my dad's 65th birthday over the All-Star break, so we actually had an Airbnb in Encinitas. My brother came down from L.A. We all stayed together for a few days, so that was very nice and a really nice way to spend the break, and it lined up really well with the days off. And you're right, they could not keep me out of the studio. I even came in and did the afternoon show for a couple of hours, which was fine and kind of worked out the radio muscles for a few days. But a very nice break and a good weekend for the Padres.
You were in Ben and Wood's territory in Encinitas and didn't say a thing
Yeah,
to us.
I mean, I was out of town, but...
No, he was there during the All-Star break, right?
Oh, during the break.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean... It wasn't like I was roaming there alone. I had,
you had your family.
I apologize. I should have hit you up. I will tell you where we went. For meals. Where did we go? We went to La Papagayo one night.
Great.
We went to Bird's Eye Kitchen.
Good tie.
One night.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, we went to, where else did we go? We went to somewhere in Carlsbad. We went to, I can't remember what the place was called in Carlsbad. We did go to Cali Cream for ice cream,
delicious,
which was very good.
Very rich.
One night,
good
and
hot fudge
we had a good time. So I apologize, I did not invite you to the birthday festivities. That was an oversight on my part.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't have gone, but it's always nice to get invited, Sammy. I don't really like to go to anything, but I do like to be invited. I do.
But
then
you know what?
Then you feel awkward when you say no.
Then I feel bad when I say no.
Here is the truth, though. At one point during my dad's visit, I did mention how you two lived up there.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about San Diego and how people, work in different places. A lot of people live up here. And I said, Ben and Woods, and my dad is a big-time Ben and Woods listener. I'm sure he will listen to this segment in particular at some point today. He is aware that you guys live up there, so he did know he was in Ben and Woods territory.
Well, happy birthday to your dad. I'm sure he is. Listen, if you raised Sammy Levitt, you can pat yourself on the back that you did a really, really nice job. I know you were excited to get back to baseball. We all were. It was like a loss inside of us. And then the game rolls around Friday night, and boom, 7-0 loss. I mean, just as putrid of a performance as you could give. And it didn't feel great coming out of the break.
3 hits.
Yeah, 3 hits. Just Tanner Bybee just shoving on you all night. How'd that first post game show go?
Yeah, it felt very much like how the first half ended. That was certainly the most concerning part about Friday night, was the fact that offensively they picked up right where they left off, and I don't mean that in a very good way. Now, the good part about Friday night was Matt Waldron was really good, and Yuki Matsui actually looked really good, and then the game got away late. But yeah, it didn't leave a great taste in your mouth Friday night when they come out of the break, and offensively it was the same thing we saw at the very end of the first half, where they just weren't doing things they did pretty well for the most part in the first 90 games or so, and that's stringing hits together, that's creating big innings, that's, for the most part, especially early in the first half, winning on the road, doing those things on the road. And then obviously they were able to turn it around Saturday and Sunday. But no doubt, Friday did not feel very good and was sort of a continuation of what we saw right before the break, especially offensively.
Tell you what concerned me, Sam, and when I watch a team like the Guardians, I always look, okay, what makes this team so good?
Yep.
Why did they have the best record in the American League at the All-Star break? It certainly isn't their starting pitching. Jesse pointed it out a number of times. Probably worst starting pitching in baseball. Okay, how do you have such a good record? Well, they got a decent lineup. Padres pitchers did a great job shutting them down, though. They kept Steven Kwan and Jose Ramirez in check for most of the series. So where is the difference? And it's clearly in the bullpen. They have a dominant bullpen where the Padres have a stressfully,
adequate sometimes,
not other times bullpen. And it just shows you what a huge difference that can make. When they have a lead, they're not going to give it up. And the Padres are pretty good at holding the leads. The difference is when you're down one, they're going to keep it there for the most part. They didn't on Saturday, but you know what? They did yesterday. They gave themselves a chance to win. They didn't come back and win it, but they could have, and they've done it many times this season. And to me, that's the difference right there where the Padres, there's going to be too many games where they're not giving themselves a chance to win because they don't have a deep enough bullpen like the Guardians.
Well, look, even, and you make a fair point, Ben, even with the good of this weekend on Saturday and Sunday, and a lot of that was due to how terrific Dylan Cease and then Michael King were. And if those two guys are going to pitch anywhere close to that level, that's a big deal for this team. And that's a really great thing, and especially if you throw Waldron in the mix. Look, the starting pitching was great this weekend. If they get that level of starting pitching, that's awesome. But what Friday night, back to the first game of the series, again, what it did magnify, and I know you guys were talking about it right before the break, it magnified one way or another, whether that's via a trade or that's, well, look, I'm certain they are going to get some sort of reliever in here, but even beyond that, it magnified the need one way or another to be able to rely on somebody or two guys outside of Estrada, Morajón, and Suarez to get outs in big spots. I mean, look, you go to Stephen Kolek in the eighth inning, and that's just a 1-0 game on Friday night. And I know they have Emmanuel Clase waiting in the bullpen. He's no easy task. But, hey, it's a 1-0 game in the eighth inning, and you're trying to give yourself at least a chance in the top of the ninth inning to tie or take a lead. And obviously things sort of unraveled in that eighth inning, and the game got totally away. So to your point, Ben, Friday night was a game where it magnified, whether that's a Yuki Matsui, who was actually really good on Friday night, but whether it's a Stephen Kolek, whether it's an Daniel De Los Santos, whether it is somebody via a trade in the next week or so, yeah, it magnified that a bullpen in 2024, especially as we get later in the season, yeah, you need more than three guys that you can really look at and rely on to go get some big outs in big spots. And Friday night did reveal that, and it makes the next week or so that much more interesting because there's clearly a pretty glaring need in that pen.
I mean, it was interesting, and there's a guy on Twitter, Letters to AJ. He writes a really good blog on Substack. I read it every week, and one came out this morning right before the show started, and it talks about that Friday night game. And I got some DMs about it as well, and essentially, Sammy, it was like, man, kind of a defeatist attitude of going with Kolek there instead of a higher leverage guy because you've got Clase coming up. You also know
She literally told us on Friday that he had graduated to more higher leverage situations.
Right.
And that was before that game.
And it doesn't get much higher leverage than that one, right? And so they gave him a shot, didn't work out, but he was able to preserve Estrada and Suarez for kind of when he really needed him. I kind of scratched my head in game 2 going to Estrada, but 6 pitches, I think, and he gets out of it. Listen, they get paid to know a lot more than us, but I was ultimately pretty surprised by that move on Friday night.
Well, I think, and I took calls about it on Friday night. I think the easy second guessing is obviously, hey, it's only a 1-run game. You do have the off day on Monday. You don't know what Saturday and Sunday are going to bring anyway. So why not use one of your main 2 setup guys in Estrada or Morajón in a 1-run game, even though you're not winning, you're losing. I totally understand it. With that said, I did see the reasoning on Friday, or, I saw reason as to why you would say, okay, Kolek, even though he gave up the home run to d'Arnaud in the game on Sunday before the first half ended, had been really good before that. They're trying to find an arm or two that they can rely on to go get outs, and giving him that opportunity in a one-run game. It didn't work out, right? Because the game got away and the inning got away. I understood the reasoning after the game. I also understand, from a fan perspective of like, hey, it's a one-run game. You got to try to keep it a one-run game, and you have the off day on Monday. They tried it with Kolek, and it didn't work out. But like I was saying in the previous answer, I kind of get it because they need sort of desperately to be able to turn to somebody else outside of those three. I guess what I'm saying is I didn't hate that moment trailing to try to get those three outs with Kolek and see if you could kind of graduate him to that sort of spot. It's a tough spot for a manager. It really, really is when maybe you don't feel like you have that fourth, fifth guy you can turn to in that big spot and go get outs in a consistent way. But they again, goes back to this, whether it's via trade or it's via guys stepping up, they need it desperately down the stretch in these final 60-plus games.
Well, it's like this. I try to put myself in his shoes, and I thought to myself, I would have, what do I always say? Make moves that you can save your ass, right? Like, and that you can't manage that way. Mike Schill can't live that way. Make moves that you can say, well, of course I went to Jeremiah Estrada. We're only down one. I have faith in my team that we can score off the best relief, right? Like, that's the easy move. Mike Schill did not make the easy move. I got a DM on Friday night. It says, I know Clase is good, but with 2, 3, 4 up with a rested pen and days off upcoming, you don't throw Morahan, Estrada. I said, makes no sense. Unless they win the next two, then he's a genius. He says, even if they don't score in the ninth, you're just using one inning of Morahan, have Estrada and Suarez rested the next 2 days. They're going to use their top three pitchers. I wish they would have saved one for the Nats. And he said now they don't even have to use Clase because they scored so many off of Kolek.
Now they did use Clase in a 2-1 deficit yesterday.
Correct.
Like the Padres didn't do on Friday with Estrada.
Correct. So it's just, again, a move that I didn't get. I'm glad I didn't spout off about it because it would have blown up in my face.
But ultimately, they didn't score. They didn't score.
Right.
So it was the right move, apparently.
Yeah.
Right. And also, just to kind of push it a point further, when you really think about it, if you look at Saturday's game, the score was 3-0 heading into that top of the eighth inning, okay? If the Padres don't score in the eighth inning there, guess who's coming in all likelihood regardless, right? I know Estrada ended up coming in anyway, but then it's definitely Estrada in a 3-run game, and if you're still leading 3-0 heading into the ninth inning, it's Suarez. So look, there was a world where it could have worked out where it was, you tried Kolek on the Friday, and it ended up being in 2 close games late and save situations late. You had to go to Estrada and Suarez on Saturday and Sunday. Now, the devil's advocate to that is like, well, you still didn't end up using Morahan, right? So you certainly could have pitched that eighth inning on Friday.
Yeah.
Again, I understand the second guessing. I understand the other side of it. I also sort of understand the thinking of trying to graduate somebody, just like they've done with Morahan and Estrada.
Absolutely, they have.
Hey,
absolutely.
You got to do that sometimes in your bullpen. So I get, not to kind of avoid it, but I do understand both sides of the argument, and they both have real, I think, valid points.
Well, and it friggin' worked at the end of the day.
Before you go, Sam Levitt, I'm looking in the chat here, and I need to ask, do you have a fan club, and are they called the Levitators?
Oh, that's genius.
I don't think so. I've seen that in the YouTube chat a little bit. I've nobody has ever come up to me and said that in person, so I really don't think so. Now, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, because I wouldn't say there's any sort of Levitators fan club, and that's fine. But my fan club is nothing like the Scrabinator fan club. I don't know if you guys have experienced the Scrabinator. Do you know that he's doing a second Scrabinator night at the ballpark where I don't have all the details in front of me, but where he's going to have another night where he has his followers and supporters that call themselves Scrabinators at the ballpark.
So Scrabinators, Levitators. Can we do the Ben and Woodsinators?
Ben and Woodsinators?
Just get rid of the tier 1s.
Yeah. How about just the Woodsinators? Sounds a better ring to it. The Beninators. Yeah. No, but it's backed by popular
They're
demand.
called the tier ones.
The tier ones,
actually.
baby.
You know what's really interesting is as you were saying that, I was thinking of your names and I thought of Ben Higgins. What everybody calls Higashioka Higgy. Nobody calls Ben Higgy.
Mark Grant and Mark Loretta.
That's it.
Both call me Higgy,
That's
and
it?
those are the only
Okay.
two. I don't know. Those are the two. He's
Ben
Higgy.
You know what? That is unsurprising, because if there's one thing I've learned in working in baseball for like a decade now, baseball players and the baseball culture, they love a nickname.
Throw an E on it.
And as we've
Just
learned, as we've learned with Mike Schill, you throw an E on it and you're good. Like I'm kind of shocked nobody called me and they've never done it. Nobody called me Levy. At any point. I was thinking,
Well, they do call you Sammy.
But... pop up. Yeah, it's already Sammy. So Sammy. Yeah.
Sam,
Anyway,
have a good
baseball players love a nickname.
Enjoy the rest of your day off. Tomorrow, Eco Water SoCal pregame show, I believe, 2:45 against the
2:45, yeah.
Washington Nationals. Fairly early start for an afternoon game. We will hear from you again then. Thank you so much.
All right, guys. See ya.
There's some
Sam
great
Levitt.
nicknames in here. The Mennonites.
The Mennonites. Like the Mennonites, but the Mennonites.
The Reindl Holics actually.
Probably not a good idea.
Probably not a good idea.
Probably not a good one for you.
Yeah, not a good one for you.
But hey, a lot of great ideas.
A lot of great
Glad
ideas.
you brought those up.
They're the tier ones. We already have a name for our listeners. We don't need to come up with a new one. We're good.
There's a lot of great ideas in here. Second one.
The Reindl Holics. No, that's not good. I'm just glad it wasn't my idea and it was I Need Money's idea. Okay? Don't shoot the messenger, Paul.
The Rhine Addicts.
Well, that doesn't work either, Ben.
All right, we'll come back. Got some Sebastian Maniscalco tickets to give away. Paulie's got some more headlines in the Reindl Report, all coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan. 1 hour of Ben and Woods remaining here on a Monday, and then Andy and Elston will be here at 10 o'clock. Craig got to PA a winning San Diego Wave game. First win in 10 matches since May.
Good God.
Now, this is not the regular season anymore. They're doing like a summer tournament while the rest of the top players are playing in the Olympics, but they did win 3-1 over Bay FC on Saturday night. And then last night, unfortunately, our San Diego Legion
saw this.
Were eliminated from the playoffs with a 30-28 loss to the Seattle Seawolves. Now, I watched that game. I was working last night and pulling some highlights. So I actually watched most of the game. And I'm trying to get into rugby as a sport. I think there's some good aspects to it. It remains confusing, and I don't think it's just me. I get that I'm not, diehard rugby fan, and some of the rules even the referees seem kind of confused about it. The announcers are confused about what's going on the field at times. And I don't think it's just me not knowing rugby that well. I also feel like everybody on the field is sometimes confused about the actual rules of rugby.
Just a lot of confusion.
And what what a knock on, and there was a penalty try awarded. No one in the booth could explain really what it was. The referees had discussed it for about 6 minutes before they kind of figured it out, and no one really had an idea. It's some of the elements of the sport are a bit confusing.
I've been calling NLL games in the box. You can't get any closer to the action than unless you're a player than I get. I've been doing it 6 years. I've never missed a game. I rarely miss games on television. I watch on my iPad.
Right. You're a diehard now.
There are times that things happen, and the referee comes up through the hole. He goes, all right, we got him. And I'm like, and I have to then go on the mic and be like, we have a penalty on number, and the penalty is for holding the stick under his wiener, and that is in fact a penalty. And I had no idea that you couldn't hold the stick with your wiener.
I'm a pretty savvy sports watcher. I've done this professionally for 25 plus years, and I'm giving rugby a shot, and I do like it. I just cannot quite grasp it. And I wish the announcers could do a better job of explaining it to me, but they can't.
I can't.
Something happens, and they just don't know what's going on.
There's one guy, by the way. There's one referee in the NLL, and I don't know his name. But when I see him walking towards the glass, I go, oh, no, because I'll look to him and go, what was that? And he'd go, I have no idea. Zero. And he's the guy. They won't let him out on the floor. He stays in the box with me.
Yeah.
He hasn't the foggiest idea of what's going on, and he's an actual official in the sport. When he walks in, I go, oh, God. I'll look at my guy next to me, and I'll go, we're dead. I got no idea. I had no idea.
I mean, in rugby, they'll do the scrum, which is where all the teams,
they get together,
push each other, get together, and then it'll break up, and sometimes they'll do it again. Sometimes they'll give it to the other team. Sometimes they'll give it to one team. And there's never any rhyme or reason to why this happens.
So they're in a scrum, and then there's the ball's on the ground.
Yeah, but they
pass it around.
One team gets to roll the ball in their direction, so they always have the inherent advantage. Unless the other team pushes them back 5 yards, there's no way they're going to get it. Which I don't quite understand why one team gets it the other.
They rotate?
But then I don't know. I think it's dependent on what caused the scrum to begin with.
Oh, no.
But I can't figure it out.
She's doing a jump ball.
And and they do those the side outs. Like in soccer, if you kick the ball out of bounds, or like basketball, the other team gets to throw it in. But in rugby, sometimes the team that kicks it out gets to keep it, but then sometimes the team that doesn't kick it out gets to keep it. And I've watched about 10 to 15 Legion games. And I'm still over the last 3 years, and I still can't quite figure this sport out.
M.M. McKee in the chat says, best rugby position, hooker second, tight head prop. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, they talked about the backup hooker a lot at the in the game yesterday. He scored a try.
The lot lizard of the group.
I felt like I don't think I want to be known as the backup hooker.
You want to be front of the line. Not the bullpen.
The ace.
The ace. Yeah, you want to be the ace of the staff. Yeah, cricket's another one. Tried to watch that. It's
cricket. So, and I've been, because of John Boy's videos, I watched a little bit more and I get a little understanding. But then they post the score of a cricket game, and I'm going, I have no idea what that means.
I'll tell you what's the
no
hardest.
idea what that means.
I'll tell you what, man. I went out and played some pickleball recently, which is I was really down on it, and then I had a really fun time playing it with some friends. The scoring, you have to have a master's in Latin to actually understand how you score pickleball. For me, at least, they kept explaining. I'm like, someone just tell me what the score is. Because am I up? Am I down? I have no idea. It's the weirdest scoring. It's not like tennis.
You don't follow tennis.
It's not like ping pong, which is moronically easy.
Do you know how to keep scoring tennis?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. 15, 30, 40, deuce if you tie, add in or out, and no problem.
Some people like 5 instead of 15, which always confuses me.
Oh, they say 5
instead of 15.
5 love.
Yeah, but in professional tennis, it's always 15.
Yeah, 15, 30.
I mean, why can't we just do 1,
one
2,
uniform?
3,
yeah, 1, 2,
and
3.
4. Why 15, 30, 40?
6,
Who came
12,
up with that?
minus 18 for the last set. It's so weird, but yeah, I really enjoyed the pickleball experience. The scorekeeping is enough. Let's put it this way. It's enough to keep me away from doing it. Does that make sense? Like I really
Carl
like.
says it's just 0 to 11. You only score when you're serving.
No, that's not it.
You don't.
There's
there's
all there's all sorts of weird stuff.
No,
in
you
there.
can score when you're not serving in ping pong.
Oh,
Yeah. You have to.
It's like volleyball.
But
Used
you
to be
go
volleyball. Now
used-
volleyball,
yeah.
you can score when you're not
Rally
serving
scoring.
either. They have rally scoring.
Yeah,
so.
pickleball was really. It was not just 1 through 11.
right.
Maybe you're playing some rudimentary version, but I was playing like apparently the real deal, and it was. I could not.
I'm going to
get it.
keep trying to figure rugby out.
All right.
While we do that, let's get some headlines from Paulie in the Reindl Report.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
We will start off in the NFL. Next Thursday, we will have a football game.
You're kidding.
Thursday, August 1st. It's the Hall of Fame game, Houston and Chicago. And then after that, preseason is on. And saw a headline here about the Packers and their quarterback. And I go, I've heard this story before.
Yeah, this is a tale as old as time.
Now, I'm dying to know if you guys think this is a quarterback thing, if this is a Jordan Love thing, or if this is a Packers thing, or it's just how it is. But Jordan Love told the Packers that he will not practice until he gets a new contract.
He is under contract currently.
When I read that, I go, huh. They did this every year, it seemed like, with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And they must have thought, oh, we got rid of that problem. You know, he's New York's problem. now.
Yeah. Nope. Get that
It's
guy out of the building.
Happening again.
No.
Now, it seems like it's pretty amicable between the two sides. You know, he showed up for training camp on time, but, you know, he's basically said, like, look, I need a new deal. And the Packers have said, we understand where he's coming from, and we want to get this done. So it doesn't sound like it's going to get too crazy. But when I see that headline, number 1 NFL headline on ESPN, I go, do they not deal with this like every other year in Green Bay? It sure feels that way.
It says, without a new deal, Love would have only made $11 million this season on the final year of a mini extension he signed last May. The deal added 1 year this season, the 2024 season, to his rookie contract. So they added a year. Base salary for last year was $1 million. Now he's in line for one of the richest contracts in the league. Appears likely to join the $50 million a year club for Jordan Love. Wow. Yeah, I mean, Trevor Lawrence got a huge deal. Burrow got a huge deal. Prescott's going to get a huge deal.
I mean, it's just when it's your turn, you're going to be the next highest paid ever quarterback.
But I think to answer your question, Paulie, I think it's more of a football thing, and it's for a couple of different reasons. First of all, their contract structures. They're not entirely guaranteed.
Right.
You know, there's just weird things where they cut you and then they don't have to pay you in a lot of those deals. I mean, some of the quarterbacks are getting more guaranteed deals. And then the nature of football. It's just more likely that one day you get tackled the wrong way, a la Joe Theismann, and you're just done. And, like, if you're not protected and you don't have that deal in place, if you're Jordan Love, yeah, you can play for $11 million. If you don't have that future deal in place and you have that one moment and you're like, I may never walk again, then you're not getting another dollar from your team after that. That's just the cold, hard reality.
Doesn't that work the other way, too, though?
Yes, it does.
You know, he's one play away.
But I think if you're the player and you feel like I'm risking my body for the team, they should be the ones that are stepping up and accepting more of that financial risk than me. I shouldn't have to accept both the physical and financial risk at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, bro, we don't play in the NFL. I won't work a day without a contract. No, not a day, not one. I learned my lesson well. Not one single show, not 1 minute of one show will I work without a signed deal. I just won't. And I'm not. My life isn't at risk every day. We're contract employees. We have a contract. So, it doesn't mean I'm a bad teammate. It means I'm looking out for myself. So and especially in his case, yeah, man, you gotta do what's right for you, 100%, and they'll get it done. They will absolutely get it done. It's just great. It's gonna be a shocking number for Jordan Love.
Sure.
Yeah.
But they're always
shocking numbers.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, kind of branching away from sports here. I got two stories that I think you guys will enjoy here. We will start off. This one's a little bit selfish, but he's one of my favorite musicians of all time. Chris Cornell. And I know, Woodsy, you feel the same way. He would have turned 60 over the weekend, would have celebrated his 60th birthday on Saturday. And his widow, Vicky, she went on his Instagram, the official Chris Cornell Instagram account, and just posted a bunch of photos and videos, just kind of a tribute to him. Very sweet, warm message. But it was the song that was used in the post that everyone was talking about. She shared a clip of a cover of Chris Cornell singing Fast Car by Tracy Chapman.
Wow.
And everyone unreleased before?
I've heard all his covers.
Yeah,
everyone
everyone goes,
a million.
Where the hell has this been? And she kind of teased, like, yeah, this may be released. Something along the lines of more music to come.
Think about the archives of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That we haven't heard yet.
Yeah. I just wanted to play, it was just a snippet of Fast Car by Chris Cornell.
It's incredible.
Enjoy. Because this, I mean, he's incredible, and that song's incredible. You thought, yeah, I need this.
You got a fast car. I want to take it anywhere. Maybe we can make a deal. Maybe together we can get somewhere. Any place is better.
Jesus God.
Starting from zero, got nothing to lose. Maybe we'll make something. Me, myself, I got nothing to prove. So remember when we were driving in your car. Speed so fast, felt like I was drunk. City lights lay out before us. Your arm felt fun around my shoulder. And
what a loss.
Feeling that I belong. And I had a feeling that I could be someone, be someone.
Had a little Cornell on the drive, had a little Weiland on the drive the other day, and just was thinking to myself, my favorite people are just gone, and it's just the worst. It's the worst. That man at 60 would have been still making
Incredible
beautiful music.
Yeah, we were robbed.
Guts my soul.
Fans of his. The quote that Vicky used in her message was, "He's an icon, and he gave us all so much. His unique voice, his poetry, his creativity, his life was a gift to so many. And as you can hear, there's more to come." So everyone's like, "Okay, like bring it on."
Bring it on. There's a song he does. It's called "The Keeper," and it was for a movie called something about a preacher. It was with. It was like remember the preacher went to Africa and built churches, and like, he had to like fight people to build these churches. What was he called?
Sounds like a good movie.
It was really good. Gerard Butler's in it. He's a badass. But the name of the song is called "The Keeper." I can't even play it because I just start sobbing every time I hear it. And it's one of his more
Machine Gun Preacher.
Yeah,
2011.
Gerard Butler, the great Gerard Butler, and the title track is "The Keeper," and it brings you to your knees. It's that beautiful. And when you watch the movie and listen to it, it's incredible. So I'm just really bummed.
Yeah. And then finally, Woodsy, you sent this story over my way.
My fantasy. This is my fantasy. This is my sexual fantasy.
So I had to read this story because it was kind of misleading. I thought somebody stumbled across something at a Goodwill, like searching through a Goodwill store, and they found something that they thought was incredibly valuable.
Correct.
Which we've seen those stories before. Designer clothes or something. You're like, this is worth $1,000. I can get it for 50 cents.
A Banksy painting or something that's at Goodwill, or you peel back one layer, like, oh, look at that, it's Van Gogh. Like, my fantasy.
Found in a basement.
It's my fantasy.
So this was a little bit different than that. He didn't just stumble across it in a store, but Goodwill, I didn't know this, they have an online thrift store.
Sure.
And part of that online thrift store is an auction. And somebody bought a piece of a tent belonging to George Washington.
George Washington.
Wow.
They believe it's been authenticated. They believe it's from his dining tent.
His dining tent.
It's framed, and there is like a letter on there, and it looks really cool. It went to auction on Goodwill's site, and it sold. The guy bought it for $1,700.
It's nothing.
Knowing or believing that this has to be
That's
worth
authentic. It's got to be worth way more than that.
Thousands of bucks.
Yes.
So it wasn't like, he wasn't just like shopping in person. He's like, wait, what is this?
What is this? This is a.
Because I was like,
Oh,
I
it's
don't
a
think
George Washington
I don't
tent.
think Goodwill sells stuff for $1,700 in their stores. They would have thought it was fake and maybe sold it for $20. But yeah, he went on there and bought it for $1,700. And he said, you know, he was very skeptical about it being a fake or something, and wants to get it authenticated. And he believes he can turn it around and make a ton of money on it.
That's a cool ass artifact.
Now, the opposite side of that, did you see the story over the weekend of the entire Stegosaurus skeleton that was put up for auction? And they thought maybe about $6 million is what it would be worth. Sold for $44 million.
Good Lord.
Like an entire dinosaur skeleton. Now, people are upset. They think these should be in museums. Private people shouldn't be able to just buy full dinosaur skeletons. But it was worth, someone paid $44 million for 150 million year old Stegosaurus skeleton.
I would like to be that wealthy where you walked in, guys, come on over for a barbecue, and you walk in, what is this? Oh, it's a Stegosaurus. Just bought it. It's just a full right in the foyer of my house.
Probably what they're doing.
Big ass Stegosaurus. It's a real deal. What'd you pay for this? 66 mil? Just money to burn.
This is our Stegosaurus room.
Yeah,
where we
Stegosaurus
keep our
here?
Stegosaurus.
Just mind the Stegosaurus. Please don't get too close to it. No, it's my dream to like go to a garage sale and find some record.
Right.
You know, Nirvana's Love Buzz record that's worth like $4,000. Get it for a quarter or something. That's like my fantasy. I'm sure people out there have found hidden treasures. What was that show? Antiques Roadshow?
Yeah.
I would watch it hungover and just watch it for hours.
I really
want
to take the Civil War pickle.
The Civil War pickle.
to
It's
the
like your
Antiques
greatest.
Roadshow.
It's your greatest
see
artifact.
see what that would sell for.
It's a real pickle from the Civil War, you guys. I've seen it. It's white.
It's in
now.
a jar.
It's in a jar.
I mean, you need to bring that to the pawn shop, guys, next time you go to Las Vegas.
Yeah. Pickle in a jar.
Pickle in a jar.
You would be featured on the show,
Yeah,
for
the
sure.
1860, the 1860s.
Do you
Civil
have
War.
authentication for it?
I don't have any documentation, but
There's that
I mean,
sticker. It says Civil War pickle.
I mean, they could probably like carbon date it or something.
Something?
I don't know. They had to grow it in the bottle, and then they pickled it.
Look, like any collectible, you got to get it authenticated. I bet there's a process.
I'm not a thief, but I have considered stealing the Civil War pickle. I've told him I want it for my own self. I want it.
Ocean's 14.
I was like a Civil War buff when I was a kid. I used to go to Civil War battle sites like Shiloh in
Now,
Tennessee.
I don't think
was
this pickle
obsessed.
fought in the Civil War or was taken to any battle
There was
sites.
war around it.
Yeah.
There was war around that pickle. That pickle is seen more than you give it credit for. But I want it. I want it bad.
Paulie, good job, as always. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we got Sebastian Maniscalco tickets to give away. Plus, what was the most underrated sporting event of the weekend? You probably have no idea.
I have no idea.
I will let you know when we come back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. So I probably wouldn't have watched this event had I not been working on Saturday night, and it had already been on ABC 10. But since I was at my desk and, well, I have the channel on, I did catch during the Padres game some of the WNBA Team USA All-Star game.
The All-Star game, yeah.
And I've got to say, you can't really recreate that anywhere else. But it was probably the most compelling All-Star game I've ever seen.
I heard they played actual defense.
They did.
On Caitlin Clark.
It was Caitlin Clark and Angel.
I saw Kelsey Plum. In her grill.
So many storylines because the WNBA All Stars had Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese on the same team.
Yeah.
And then they had Arike Agumbawale, who scored 0 in the first half, 34 in the second half.
Oh, my God.
And Team USA, which has, all the Olympic stars like Diana Taurasi who are going to Paris, they end up losing, which is like kind of a little bit embarrassing to the, the non-Olympic stars who didn't make the team, but they cared. Both sides definitely wanted to win that game, and it just added a little bit of extra drama and theater that I don't know how you could ever create that in a a non-Olympic basketball or a baseball game, but with, like last week, Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred talking about ways they could change the All-Star game. We talked about it a little bit too. Now that there's interleague play every season, every team, the All-Star game loses some of its luster, just being a National League versus American League format every year because the leagues aren't quite as separate. It's not like you don't get a chance to see your pitchers go against Aaron Judge. Every year we get to see Padres now face Aaron Judge, or the other, the American League gets to face Shohei Ohtani now. Would there be anything that you could do that could up the drama for a Major League Baseball All-Star game by changing the composition of the two teams?
No, it's awesome.
East versus West. You wouldn't change it at all.
I love it. I think
American and National just keep with tradition.
I'd change the uniforms. That's it. Just put them back in their normal team's uniforms. If you're the away team, the away league, then you wear your road stuff and you go. Go nuts.
I think you do.
I'm at the point where I'd rather watch them play a wiffle ball game.
That's garbage. I'm watching Paul Skeens throw 100 miles an hour. He's not taking anything off.
It doesn't mean anything.
I think,
in the World Baseball Classic, it was awesome when you saw Shohei go against Trout because they were actually competing for something.
Here's my idea, and granted, there'd probably be more people who hated it and missed the tradition. You'd probably be one of them. But what if instead of American League versus National League, you did like the young stars, guys who are still under team control, first 6-year players against veterans? And it was the young guys or under 30 against over 30 or 28 or whatever. Would that not be compelling? Would that not be a little more incentive? Both sides would not want to be embarrassed. The veterans wouldn't want to be embarrassed by the rookies. The rookies, the young guys would want to kind of show up the older players.
I'm down 1,000%.
This is my own idea here.
Would you have enough of each?
Of course. I think it's a pretty even mix right now. Look at this year's All-Star game, how many young guys were there, but there's always going to be veterans that fill out an All-Star team.
Yeah.
And you just have two teams. One, 30.
You had Jackson
30 guys who are like under 28.
Yeah.
Wherever you set the line. And then wherever you set the line, you have 30 guys that are over 28.
Okay.
And that's who plays against each other in the All-Star game.
I'm all in. I think that would be high drama. High drama.
Wouldn't it, though?
Because I watched there was I think it's the PLL, the Premier Lacrosse League. It's not the NLL. It's the outdoor, right? There was a big controversy last week, you guys. A rookie in his first All-Star game did some crazy move and juked out this veteran guy. This veteran guy went on Instagram, was like, try hard rookie, and everyone attacked him. Because this rookie was in his first, and they had mic'd up segments, and the guy's like, hey, have you talked to him yet? You told him this is not what we do? And people were like, bro, he's a rookie, like, playing in an All-Star game. He's playing hard. Right? And so the veteran got mad. Like, hey, what are you doing? Try hard, Charlie Hustle. It was pretty dope.
Think about, you'd have like the swaggy, young team with the Tatises and celebrating their home runs.
Get
and
the rosters up.
You'd have the grumpy older players like the Verlanders and stuff on the veteran team.
Pull up the rosters. I want to see what it would come up with in the next segment.
All right, let's do that in the next segment.
What
right
would
now,
it have looked like?
Let's what would it have looked like? That's very I'm very curious about
That's a
that.
good
Let's
idea,
give away
Benny.
some tickets right now. We got a pair of tickets to Sebastian Maniscalco at Viejas Arena on August 16th. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, but you can win a pair right now. Be the fourth caller, 833-288-0973. Fourth caller, going to win a pair of tickets to see comedian Sebastian Maniscalco at Viejas Arena on August 16th. We'll come back, talk a little more of my All-Star idea, and then come back, maybe some of the Hall of Fame stuff.
Yeah.
Good speeches, good moments yesterday from Cooperstown, and then the class of 2025. Who's next up? Possibly, as we wrap things up with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. seeing some positive reaction to my idea for the MLB
this.
All-Star game.
Get Rob Manfred on the phone. I doubt he'd care to take your call.
Young guys versus old guys. And so we just did a quick review, and I'm just going to go with the starting lineups for the National and American League from the game that was just played last week. And obviously, you'd have to account for positions. But if you went with just the young guys, like if you made 28 the cutoff line, the under 28 team would have William Contreras, Alec Boehm, Paul Skeens starting, Stephen Kwan, Gunnar Henderson, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Adley Rutschman would all be starters for the unders. And then the overs would have, Shohei, Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Yelich, Teoscar, Jurickson would be on the overs, Judge would be on the overs, Corbin Burns would be the pitcher on the overs. So
nasty.
You kind of have and let's see, Juan Soto would be on the youngers.
Wow.
Jose Ramirez would be on the overs. I mean, it'd be a pretty interesting separation and mix for the two teams.
Yeah, probably year one, let's kind of feel this thing out. And if the youngs beat the olds next year would come to play. I think that's a really good
All-Star
idea.
MVP Jaron Duran would have just been on the youngers.
Yep.
He's 27. So you'd have some of those kind of cutoff guys, but it would definitely be interesting.
And spice it up a little bit.
I think so.
I think so too.
I think
I thought there was nothing wrong with it. Now you're doing this, and now I'm going to miss this next year.
I feel like the players would care a little bit more than they do. Playing for the pride of the National or the American League now just doesn't mean as much.
No, it definitely doesn't.
But kind of playing for your generation, millennials versus the older guys. I mean, they're all kind of millennials at this point.
But still.
I just feel like there is kind of a line there where it's young versus old would have a compelling factor, maybe more than the other sports even. The young versus the old.
I like it.
In baseball is,
I like it.
is
What if
something.
they lined up all 50 All-Stars or whatever and had two captains, maybe the top two in MVP voting the year before or whatever, and mic'd up and on the field in uniforms, they go Sandlot rules.
Just pick
and
teams.
they do like the baseball bat, the hands. All right, I'm first captain.
They kind of did that in basketball a couple
They did
of
the
years
draft
ago.
during,
They did a draft
inside the NBA, I think, during a Thursday night game. So kind of that same idea. And then they're like, all right, I got Shohei. All right, I got Tatis. I've got Judge. Well, I got Soto.
I'd watch
and they
that.
just kind of pick and choose. And then all of a sudden you're like, who's going to be last? Who's going to be last?
To pick David Fry from the Cleveland Guardians. He's like, I'm a big leaguer. I thought I got away from this. Just starters then. You can just do starters and then kind of whack up the neck. I don't know how you would do it without two guys standing on the field by themselves. Like,
Bro, that's must-see TV.
Matt Strom standing there like, you might need a lefty. Or...
Bryce Harper didn't pick Matt Strom. He's like, F you,
He's like,
dude.
"Hey, bro." He's like, dude, I'm sorry. I had a chance to get Corbin Burns. What do you want me to do?
I'd watch that.
I'd watch the hell out of that, too. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great. I think it'd be phenomenal. Yeah, I mean, I love it as it is. I love it. I love the All-Star game. Love it, love it, love it. The Derby needed some work this year. It just needs more star power. Fewer shortstops in it. And as good as those guys are.
What can the league do about that, though?
Nothing. You can't do anything.
You can't make Ohtani and Soto and Judge do the home run derby if they don't want
Pete
to.
Alonso's the only guy that's running, waving, campaigning to get in it. He's one guy that wants to do it. You have one guy that wants to do it every year. And then a couple of the guys, like Teoscar.
The NBA wanted LeBron to do the dunk contest. He never did. There was no amount of money that LeBron needed.
I don't know why he never did it. Never did it once. Once. When he was 22.
Well, he couldn't after his first 3 years or whatever. That's the Rising Stars dunk contest.
They changed it. Yeah, it's true.
Which sucks.
I'm sure if he raised his hand
if he
and
said, I'll do it.
You know what, I'd like to do it.
course.
They completely
Guys,
changed the rules if they want.
The coincidence is why. We just got rid of the Rising Stars. We're going back to the old way.
Right. But like Shohei Ohtani, you can't say, hey, you'll get $10 million if you win. He's like, I don't need $10 million.
That'd be so much fun.
Well, he might, actually, but...
Yeah.
All right.
Why?
Because Ipe stole $16 million.
Oh,
from him.
Shohei.
Shohei might need the
I thought you
$10
meant
million.
LeBron.
No, Shohei might need it. Make up all that money that he had stolen from him.
Yes.
All right, let's check traffic. When we come back, Paulie's got a list of the potential 2025 Hall of Famers after yesterday's induction ceremony in Cooperstown, and you'll hear why Woods was tearing up a little bit earlier this morning.
This
Coming
will
up
get you.
next year on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, looks like we can check ladder in lanes off of our morning commute bingo card. Got 2 ladders in the fast lane, westbound King Freeway, just before Spring Street, and an accident on the coastline, Mission Avenue on-ramp to northbound 5. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I feel like if baseball does end up doing this next year, I want to get credit for it.
I think you should be. I think you should be the man at home plate. Somebody's going to steal your idea.
I know. I didn't trademark it or anything.
You're no Michael Buffer, are you?
Exactly.
Should I do it?
No,
See if he comes against me?
no.
Are you guys
We have
ready?
to sign
Here we go.
like
3,
no. Don't
2,
do it. Don't
1.
do it. You're gonna get fired. We have to sign like documents every year saying we will not say those words on the radio.
The second radio station that we worked at that just got the plug pulled on them.
My last day on the air, should I just leave everybody with a Michael Buffer and 2 middle fingers up? Just get it. Just get it. Somebody's listening right now. They're like, he got really close. He had 2 notes.
Michael Buffer's nephew is probably listening.
Yeah.
They listen
you
to
can
everything.
say "let's get." on the radio.
No.
We're allowed to say "let's get." Let's get talking about the Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Hey, are you ready to tell us the story of the Hall of Fame
I'm not
induction?
tempting fate. Rumble.
Those rumble strips on the freeway
Oh,
that
hate
keep you
those things.
in the lanes?
Hate them.
The little kind of bumble and rumble.
No, I missed.
Adam's literally just sitting there like this, just pacing.
He's
like,
in
please.
jury duty right now, by the way.
Oh, yes, he is.
God, this sucker.
Doing his civic duty this
Yeah, he
morning.
is.
I haven't heard from him. I wonder if he got picked for a trial.
Hey.
Can you imagine
Guilty.
being stuck in
He's
a
the-
jury room
he's
for
the
hours
foreman.
with Adam?
Hey, he's guilty of all charges. We're a hung jury.
I think he would like it because I actually have done kind of juries.
We the people of San Diego.
It's kind of like a round table when you're in there.
Oh, God, he loves it.
You're discussing something, a bunch of people all around a table discussing something. I think he's going to love it, actually.
Oh, it's so good. All right. What were we doing?
We're going to do Hall of Fame. First of all, let's play some of the sound because Woodsy was kind of tearing up a little bit this morning.
Jim Leland got me.
Jim Leland, yeah, one of the 4 inductees yesterday in Cooperstown, New York. The former manager of the Detroit Tigers and won a World Series with the Miami Marlins or Florida Marlins back then. And he came prepared with his speech, knocked it out of the park.
Say this to the fans. No matter which Hall of Famer you're here to support today, or which team you cheer for, your presence is always felt. On your feet in the 9th, with the home team clinging to a 1-run lead, turning on your television for the first game of the World Series, and seeing 50,000 fans waving towels, hoping and praying that this may be their year. Or a little boy or girl getting their first autograph and scurrying back to the stands to show mom and dad their latest treasure. Ladies and gentlemen, that's you. That's baseball, and this is the Hall of Fame. Thank you very much.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Big shout out to the fans. Just love it. Love Jim Leland always. Another really funny story. Did you see what he
He didn't
said?
light up a cigarette.
No,
while
he was not
while he was
ripping
doing
a
his speech.
heater.
I
while
thought
he
that
was
would
up
be
there.
very appropriate.
That would have been
but-
pretty epic. But he did say, so this is pretty funny. Jim Leland recalled a coffee date with his wife a couple of weeks after being elected into the Hall of Fame. I said, Katie, could you believe in your wildest dreams that I'd be going to the Hall of Fame? And Katie replied, Jim, you're not in my wildest dreams. Very Hannah Nancaro Woods of her. Just incredible. Just an incredible feat to get to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so it was Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and Todd Helton who were all inducted. Was not like 1,000 degrees like it seems like it is every year. It was actually a pretty nice day. Nisha Gwynn was there to sing the national anthem, which was cool. I did not know that was going to happen, but she performed lovely rendition, and they had the ceremony. And now it's time to look ahead to 2025. And obviously, you got some of the holdovers who didn't get 75% of the vote this year. But who are the new, Pauly, 2025 first-year eligible players for the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, the holdovers, you had to receive more than 25% of the vote. So it's Carlos Beltran, Andrew Jones, Manny Ramirez, Alex Rodriguez, Chase Utley, and Billy Wagner. And then the newcomers eligible for the first time are Felix Hernandez,
In.
Ian Kinsler,
out.
Dustin Pedroia,
In.
CC Sabathia,
In.
and Ichiro.
In. I don't know about Pedroia.
Bro.
Now, I want to look at his numbers.
There's no question. For me, such a gamer, such an elite player. Never liked him, always respected him. What is
1,800 career hits, 140 home runs.
How many years did he
299 batting average.
299.
He played about 13 seasons.
Yep.
I don't think so.
Really? Hall of Very Good?
My gut, when I just read the name, was, no.
But see, my gut said absolutely. Such a big game player, too.
I think
Did win the MVP in 2008.
the
and Rookie of
locks
the
are
Year.
CC and Ichiro.
Who are they again? CC, Ichiro.
Felix Hernandez.
Felix
Ian
is a
Kinsler.
lock.
I think
Felix,
lock.
I think so.
He's a
I think
lock.
so,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
I
He's a
mean,
lock.
Ichiro's the
Never
the
pitched
big.
in the playoffs.
Ichiro is potentially a
Unanimous.
unanimous choice.
100%.
I feel like CC is a strong choice. May not be unanimous, but very strong. Felix, I think, very, very strong. He might get 80 to 90.
I think
and
somebody
get in the
out there,
first
people
ballot.
out there would be like, I didn't pitch in the playoffs.
I
the only year he won the Cy Young, he
Pedroia
had a
might
losing
get in,
record.
but I don't think it's first year. I don't
Maybe.
think it's a first ballot Hall.
I guess
of
if
Famer.
Jeff Kent's not in, you can't really put Dustin Pedroia in as a second baseman. But I would. He's in my personal Woodsy's Hall of Fame, which is filled to the rafters with really good players. I don't get too upset about the Hall of Fame anymore. After Harold Baines got in, all bets were off as far as I was concerned. So
That's a pretty big new class, though, of guys who are going to take a lot of the votes, which means the holdovers might have a tougher time getting in because usually, we've got more votes to spread around, but with all those guys coming in, you won't have as many votes to spread around the bottom of your ballot.
We know
which
Bonds
makes it
obviously
harder.
didn't get it. Do you think A-Rod ever gets in?
No.
I don't think so.
Not the voting way.
Nope.
I mean, the writers have made it fairly clear that while most of them do agree that they should be in, not 75%, and it's never going to be 75%.
you're going to need some churn. You need some churn. If
Yeah.
A-Rod gets in, it will probably.
And you only get 10 years on the ballot, and it's not going to be enough churn by then. So, no, maybe some other way, veterans type committee way in the future after some attitudes change and things are viewed maybe through a different lens.
Yeah, David Ortiz
Mike
got in.
Piazza got in.
Yep. David Ortiz was on the Mitchell Report.
Doesn't work that way?
No, he didn't. A-Rod didn't smile enough. It's not goofy enough.
There is a difference between the Mitchell Report and actually being suspended.
Sure,
though, as
but
well.
none of these guys tested positive. From
A-Rod.
A-Rod did.
never got suspended.
Barry Bonds never did.
True.
Never. So, if we're doing letter of the law type bits here,
Just interesting how that works.
it is weird. It's a lot of politics, which is, by the way, it's just like life. I mean, it's no different than life. A lot of politics. It's who you know. It's how you act. It's how you acted in your career. And that some guys pissed off some sports writers that will never get over it, and they'll never get in. But, in my mind, I just remember Pedroia just always in the action. Just always winning. He's just a winning player. I've showed my son. Play like him. Bo's not very tall. He's got a lot of kids are kind of getting tall over him, and I go, it's fine. Play like him. Play just like that dude, and you will be. He's a dirtbag, just an elite second baseman, gamer type player. Play just like him, and you will be fine.
Mailman Rob says, just name it the Hall of Very Good. He says that thing's a joke now. I don't think it's a joke. But
it's omitting a lot of the best baseball players of all time.
But and it's also including some who aren't truly transcendent.
Transcendent, yeah.
It's just kind of a weird mix of guys who are really, truly spectacular and others who just had good long careers or a few good years and were very well liked by people, especially writers, during their time. All right, that is all our time for today. We will be back tomorrow morning at 6. Get you ready for the Padres National Series in Washington. The reunion with James Wood coming up. We'll talk all about it. Jesse Agler will join us. For Paul Reindl and Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your Monday. Andy and Elston up next here on 97.3 The Fan.